football today. Burger King, home of the Whopper, America's favorite burger. When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
Georgia quarterback Quincy Carter is coming off his best performance of the season. In throwing for 349 yards in a fourth-quarter win over Mississippi, Quincy showed accuracy, patience, and courage. Georgia Tech quarterback Joe Hamilton is a thrill waiting to explode. This senior has now totaled more than 10,000 yards and 79 touchdowns. The shootout is next. You are looking live at a sold-out Grant Field in Atlanta, where Georgia Tech hosts arch-rival Georgia. This ancient rivalry is 106 years old, and at stake, bragging rights for an entire season. And now the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech filing out of its locker room and ready to come on to the field. Good afternoon and welcome everybody with Gary Danielson. I'm Brent Musburger. Folks, if you like offense, you come to the right place. Between them, these two teams average 907 yards of offense, which means, Gary, defense becomes a huge issue. Can either of them shut down the other team's offense?
Brent, they're giving up 800 yards, though, between them. And usually what happens in these type of games, especially a rivalry game, the quarterbacks, they're going to have their type of games, but one of the two defenses is going to have to step up. Georgia, a couple weeks ago, had a big change in their football team. Auburn routed them for over 400 yards in the air. Jim Donnan replaced the entire secondary, including 3 seniors, to kind of make a little bit of a change in that look. And what happened last week? Ole Miss ran for over 200. Now, Georgia Tech and Georgia Larry's had a problem all year with tackling. They have not been able to stop the ground game. And they gave up to Wake Forest over 300 yards. If you think about this game, one of these two defenses have to help them.
All right, the Ramblin' Wreck now coming onto the field here in Atlanta on Senior Day. 14 seniors introduced for the final time, and the biggest ovation for Joe Hamilton from Alvin, South Carolina, embracing his mother, Ginger. Welcome to the shootout in Atlanta, everybody.
I'm Jack Arute along with the Georgia head coach, Jim Donnan. Coach, first of all, you elected to take the ball first. Why?
Well, they got a lot of firepower. We're going to see what we can do with ours.
Now, how many points do you think you're going to have to put on the board to beat this Joe Hamilton-led offense at Georgia Tech?
One more than they get, I guarantee you. That's what we got to do. They're a good team. We're going to play hard, Jack.
Brent?
One more than Georgia Tech scores. They'll take it, won't they? Luke Mange puts the ball on the tee for the Ramblin' Wreck, and they'll kick it off here on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Hope all you folks have enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday. Patrick Ross and Brett Milliken are back deep. This rivalry is underway. Pass. Cuts to the middle. Alley. Finds a slant hole. 40. Midfield. Great field position for Quincy Carter, their sophomore quarterback from Decatur, Georgia. And we asked Quincy, what is your game plan today against the Ramblin' Wreck?
To pretty much take what the defense gives us and coach down and make sure that I don't force any passes, I don't check off any runs, that I make sure I'm getting us in the right play every down.
Quincy brings him up to the line of scrimmage. 2 running backs and 1 tight end. Frequently Georgia opens in a double tight. Quincy to throw on first down, fires complete. He did catch his tight end, and that is for 11 yards and a 1st and 10 as we meet the Chili's starting lineup. Here's the offensive line. Keep an eye on number 75, Jonas Jennings, a tackle who's been bothered by a sprained ankle. Seniors on the left side. Terrence Edwards, Robert's younger brother, the freshman wideout, leads this team with 9 touchdown catches. Jasper Sanks will also play some running back along with Patrick Pass. And, of course, the sophomore Quincy Carter on a 1st and 10. Puts it back out again to his tight end. So first they go to Javaris Johnson on the first pass, then Randy McMichael. That for 11 more yards. So Carter making a living with his tight ends early.
Quincy Carter came into this football game, I think, playing a great 4th quarter against Ole Miss. He got his bounce going, throwing the ball, as you said, Brent, for over 340 yards. And you can see the game plan. Let's get him started early. We got a quarterback just as good as anybody on either side here with Quincy Carter.
Now they sit down with their 2 huge tight ends, and they open the way. Fumble recovered by Georgia. Ball was fumbled by Jasper Sanks, but an offensive lineman, Breedlove, pounced on the loose football. Now let's meet this Georgia Tech defensive line, and they're going to need some of these fellas to step up and tackle. Gathers, a freshman, a defensive end with a fine future, but the linebackers have to close in. Huge holes for Wake Forest a week ago. And in that secondary, Chris Young and Jeremy Myers, the safeties, have to come up and run support. Base 4-3 for Tech. Come back with pass. Penetration by the defense. Pass beats them. Out of bounds at the 20-yard line, just short of the first down.
Let's take a look here at the Dell Game Solutions for Georgia. You know, last week they worked the tight ends and running backs. You saw the opening play. Continue to do that. It works. And I think Georgia's going to spring a little option in this football game. Try to get Quincy Carter involved in the run game. Georgia Tech, prepare for ground warfare. When you got a team that runs for 300 yards, you're going to face it. And they need Brent to get a fumble. 1 fumble recovery all year. Last in turnover margin in the whole country.
Haynes now checks in at fullback. Grant, the running back, and the defensive end pounds ahead for the first down. This is a strategy employed by Donnan, especially early in the season. He's one of the finest freshman players on the Georgia team. Not only will he use him at defensive end, but in short yardage situations, he will bring him in to pick up the first down, as he did right there. Ball is inside the 20-yard line now for the Dogs in the red zone for the first time. Sanks battles down at the 15-yard line. Wimbush.
Let's take a look at the matchup in this football game. You have to give a small check here, a small check here for Georgia Tech, although Georgia started out so well. Georgia's defense just a little bit better. Special teams, they're both about the same. Here it is right here. Intangibles. I think whoever gets turnovers in this football game is going to win this intangibles. But Brent, if Joe Hamilton gets a last drive with the football, that might be enough to win it for Tech.
Johnson with an H-back look. They'll run in his direction. It's Sanks coming around the right side. Huge holes, of job being well done by Stinchcomb, Breedlove, and Lucky that time on the right side.
It's been a problem all year for George O'Leary's defense, just stopping, tackling well, stopping the base plays from any offense they face. That puts so much pressure on the offense for Tech. They've only been held to under 31 points once all year, and they lost that football game.
Third down for the Dogs. Sanks tackled from behind that time. Greg Gathers, their fine freshman out of Louisiana, comes in behind him to make the stop.
3 true freshmen start for Georgia Tech. Gathers is one of them, going to come right around the play right here and make it from the backside. Pretty good blocking at the point of attack. You would expect to pick up a first down, but when those tailbacks are so deep nowadays, those defensive ends come around the corner and make the play. Looks like they're going to go for it.
Donham displays his hand early, and Charles Grant is back in. So their defensive end will line up at the tailback, number 19. That's where they went last time. Again on the toss. Here comes Charles Grant, the freshman, down at the 9-yard line, and the Tech defense holds with Marvius Hester making the stop. 4th and 1. Donnan gambles, and Grant can't get it for him.
They not only might have not gotten a first down, they might have lost a defensive end in this football game. Grant took a hit right on the knee, coming around to the outside. You see it stretching out as wide as he can, put the shoulder pad right on the knee and doesn't get it. And Tech stops Georgia, and you can see it limping off that right knee. You know, Brent, 5 times Georgia was inside the 20 against Ole Miss and only ended up with 1 touchdown. Inside the 20-yard line has not been good for Jim Donnan. They went for it on a 4th down occasion early in the Ole Miss game, didn't make it, and came back and got points later. I think when you're facing a team that scores a lot of points, sometimes you do things a little bit out of character, out of the norm.
Joe Hamilton's first play with Georgia Tech. The defense holds on 4th and 1. They will run on 1st down, and the Dogs were ready for Sean Gregory. Richard Seymour, their fine defensive tackle, making the stop. And we asked Joe, what do you want to accomplish in the first series?
See what their plan is. I want to come out in a couple of different formations just to see, what we're going to be seeing all game, see the intensity of the game, see the speed of the game.
The speed is quick so far. Joe has found that out. 2nd down and 7. A very conservative opening call by offensive coordinator Ralph Friedgen. Now the quarterback draw. Now Joe Hamilton's got the 1st down. Out beyond the 25-yard line, and we meet our Chili's starting lineup. Joe Hamilton, the ringleader, and his offensive line features 3 seniors, Burks, King, and Carmen, introduced for the final time here in Atlanta. His receivers, Kelly Campbell, a quick one, number 6. Des White coming off an injury. We'll watch him. Sean Gregory has been the ball carrier. Now on 1st down, Hamilton brings the Ramblin' Wreck back to the line. Protective pocket, got a wide receiver on that left side, and Kerry Watkins streaks down that far sideline. Now defensively, Grant is out, and Adrien has checked in, so he unlucky. Grant, injured ankle, not on that lineup. Boss Bailey, yes, that is Champ's brother. Also Kindrobell, outstanding newcomer. This is the revamped defensive backfield. Can it hold up today against Joe Hamilton and Georgia Tech? And Friedgen, the offensive coordinator, shows wishbone now with this formation. 1st down. Hamilton on a keep option look. Pitch now to Gregory, who is hit by number 31, Jamie Henderson. Let's get an update from John Saunders in New York. John, happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Same to you, Brent, here on the Burger King update. Arizona and Arizona State playing to go to Hawaii, and striking first, Ryan Keeley back to pass. Pump fakes one way, throws across the middle to Richard Williams, who takes off. 51 yards, outrunning everyone for the touchdown and an early lead. Right.
All right, so Arizona State goes to a bowl game, and the loser, if they hold on, they would send Arizona home. And on this play, Hamilton throws it. It's out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Ed Wilder's the receiver. And let's go down and find out about Grant. Jackaroo, what do you hear?
Brent, not good news for Charles Grant or for Georgia. Right behind me, they're icing the young man down now. His knee, the right knee, they suspect is a problem. They have taken him out of the game for the rest of the afternoon.
In case you just joined us, a defensive end who was put in on short yardage and running situations. There will be a lot of second guessing following that decision to use one of your finest rushmen as a running back when the defenders get a shot at those legs. Here comes Hamilton now on a handoff. And out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage on the near side of the field that time. And Jamie Henderson very active in that defensive backfield.
3rd and medium, 4 wide receivers, and Georgia played very conservatively. A very soft secondary, trying to keep everything in front of them. Georgia Tech needs to run the ball at the middle of that defense, and a couple of short passes will get them out of it.
Dan Dyke back now to punt, and Michael Greer is the return man for the Dogs. They'll get it for the second time here today. Beautiful punt, but it went in the end zone. It broke the plane, and it'll come out on the 20 once it breaks that plane. So it goes as a 55-yard punt coming out on the 20 for Quincy. Timeout.
Take a look at Quincy Carter here. A little scouting report on him. He's got size, speed, and arm strength for the Millennium. He's the type of guy you draw up. Great throwing off balance, but sometimes that leads to sloppy footwork and, you know, greatness, and that's how we measure this guy, is in the details. Quincy Carter has to do the little things to be great.
Pass on first down, and he is cut off at the pass. Jackaroo.
Brent, you've got to remember that when Quincy Carter was in high school, he signed a letter of intent to go not to Georgia, but to Georgia Tech. But the lure of baseball, specifically being drafted by the Chicago Cubs, took Carter out of the football mix for several years. He cashed a $450,000 signing bonus, and Quincy Carter became a baseball player, at least for a couple of years.
And Georgia's happy to have him operating this offense. Shotgun look, going to throw it. Drop it off on that flanker screen. A comeback from the right side of the field with Terrence Edwards, Robert's younger brother, who leads this team with 9 touchdown catches. Outstanding freshman receiver from Tennille, Georgia.
So outstanding. He's a point guard on the basketball team, a great athlete, a high school quarterback, and this is the way you get the ball to playmakers nowadays. You throw that wide receiver screen, bring your linemen on those smallish defensive backs, and try to pop one.
Two of the best looking tight ends we've seen this year. One of them, McMichael, goes in motion. 6'6" target. Quincy throws, but he threw it 6'8" that time. Incomplete. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest lasting trucks on the road. Dell Computer, pioneering direct internet ideas for your business. Be direct, Dell. National Car Rental, so what are you waiting for? Let's go. And Chili's, a proud sponsor of ABC college football. The backdrop, one of the great cities of the United States, Atlanta. Capital of the New South, if you will. Left-footed punt is underway, and back deep is Hester. Runs up to it at the 45-yard line to fair catch. That's where Joe Hamilton will put it in play after only a 28-yard punt. Timeout. With Charles Grant still out with that injury, David Jacobs, a redshirt freshman from right here at Atlanta, Westlake High School, will get a shot now at left defensive end for the Dogs against Joe Hamilton and Georgia Tech. Play fake. Hamilton downfield has Des White. Out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Woonsley on the cover, but a 22-yard gain.
Des White missed last week, about 3/4 of the game, went out with a hamstring injury. That really put pressure on this offense. You especially feel it in Kelly Campbell, as he only ended up with 5 catches for 47 yards. The combination of Campbell and White really what make this thing sing for Joe Hamilton.
The option look. Gregory behind a block by Wilder, and Gregory makes the most out of it. He's out of bounds inside the 30. Gary, how about our Dell game solution?
Well, for Georgia Tech, it's going to be a deep zone early, so throw short against it, force a little man, then look for the deep ball. Secondly, they've got to neutralize the 2 defensive tackles, Stroud and Seymour. That's the strength of that defense, at least for Georgia Tech looking at them.
Georgia Tech trying to finish off a drive here in the first quarter inside the 30-yard line. Gregory pounds into the middle of the defensive line, but no more than a yard or 2.
Let's follow up with what Georgia has to do against them. They must be formation ready. Ralph Friedgen gives you a lot of looks, so don't blow a game just by not knowing where they line up. And when they have a true passing situation, rush up the middle with 5 guys. You get that 5th guy to be Kendrell Bell, number 37. He's a great rusher. There's Kevin Ramsey, defensive coordinator on the right there.
There's 3rd down. Hamilton back in the shotgun for Georgia Tech. almost intercepted, and a beautiful play by Timmy Wansley, the sophomore from Buford, Georgia. He breaks it up beautifully, read the pass by Hamilton all the way.
Wansley was sitting deep on the play, but look who he's looking at right here. Joe turns around, and watch how long this short pass takes to get there. When a defensive back can make up 5 yards, you know the quarterback held on to the ball just a little too long.
Manje
What was that?
kicks the field goal is what that is, a 44-yarder and a 3-0 lead. Georgia Tech strikes first in a rivalry game.
He had Manjo on it.
A big welcome to August 6, making his Georgia Tech rivalry, replacing the late August 5. So the man who just put Georgia Tech ahead, Manje, short high kickoff out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
One more look at that field goal. Had a little bit of a screwball effect. Look at the movement. More than Pedro Martinez puts on a fastball. That thing never got higher than 15 feet and hooked and sliced all in about a second and a half. That was a little different.
And if Coach Donnan of Georgia had it to do all over again, he might have attempted a field goal when he was down there, rather than exposing his fine freshman defensive end on 4th and 1. And because of a knee injury, he is without Grant right now. And Quincy will attempt to rally the dogs. Here comes pass. And no more than about a yard. So, Jack Arute, I know you were over in Athens earlier this week, and that was quite a moment, the ceremony honoring the late Uga 5.
Yeah, Brent, people were surprised and very upset about the dog that Sports Illustrated said was the #1 mascot a couple of years ago. You remember this with Robert Baker at the Auburn game? That's Uga 5. He was a Georgia Bulldog all the way through. He passed away from a heart attack, and they buried him at Sanford Stadium this week.
And he will be missed. But maybe not by the Auburn wide receivers, huh? Here's Quincy Carter deep, and he overthrew McMichael. Had him in the hole, and he overthrew him that time. That could have been a huge play for the Dogs.
No one covered him from Georgia Tech. An absolute bust on the play. Here he is right here. The safety goes the wrong way. And watch this. He goes out here. No one covers him on the play. Top of the field, Jeremy Myers, a young freshman, kind of gets caught out of position there. That's pitch and catch for a touchdown. Ooh. Both teams a little bit nervous starting this football game.
Now Quincy Carter and Georgia facing a 3rd and 9 against the 3-man rush. High, incomplete, and Quincy has been high here in the early stages of this game. And the Dogs are forced to punt again as Quincy goes off after missing his last 3 attempts. And remember, he hit his first 3.
Well, one earlier, he had Merrick Watson, number 98, right in his face. That caused a little bit of a high one. Those last 2 throws, though, you have to make. Those are easy throws, especially one for a touchdown.
Win Cobb. Punting again. A beautiful punt. Drives Hester back. Inside the 20, fumbles, picks it up, falls loose, still ball on the ground, and finally Tech goes and gets it. If the Georgia player had turned around, he might have fallen on that loose ball.
It was Jermaine Phillips
who was downfield, and he did not turn around in time, or he would have had a recovery.
Jermaine Phillips feels that a Tech guy falls on it. Hester bobbles it, thinks he gets it, falls on it, but watch it squirt loose right there. Phillips runs right by thinking the ball has been recovered, and then Clark comes back to make the final recovery. What happened is the official then pointed the wrong direction and got everybody confused on the play.
But Joe Hamilton and Georgia Tech are backed up on their own 1-yard line. And timeout being called by the Georgia defense. 5:18 here in the first quarter, with Georgia Tech leading Georgia by a field goal. Timeout. So Georgia Tech, after that tremendous punt, backed up on its own 1-yard line. Wilder And Gregory behind Hamilton, who's standing in his own end zone. Gregory, a conservative play for no more than a yard. Let's go back to that sensational punt, Gary.
And Brent, both you and I had our eyes on Jermaine Phillips. He's right here, number 5. Watch him the whole way. The ball gets muffed and then jumped on, and Phillips just runs right by and thinking the play is over. If he turns around right now, there's the ball. Just takes his mind and just loses his focus for 1 second, and it's all over.
That a 50-yard punt for Win Kopp on the play. Second down for Georgia Tech. Hamilton always a threat to keep it. He's going to throw from his own end zone. Now covered. Now going to throw it away. Incomplete. A beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Atlanta, and an ancient rivalry, Georgia and Georgia Tech. Georgia has not lost on Tech's Field in this decade. A year ago in Athens, the Rambling Wreck able to rally in the fourth quarter with a victory. And now today, Georgia Tech leads it 3-0 here in the first quarter.
Brent, the safeties for Georgia have been lining up extremely deep, almost 15 yards deep when the ball snapped. In fact, they are 15 yards deep.
From the shotgun in the end zone, Hamilton rifles it incomplete. Forced to punt, 3 and out. Should be excellent field position coming up for Georgia following the punt.
And when Kevin Ramsey came here, the first-year defensive coordinator from Tennessee, Jim Donnan challenged him to make a few more turnovers. Now that has happened. But what's happened is a little bit too many big plays, and now Georgia's gone back a little bit more conservative, a little bit more zone defense. Tech and Joe Hamilton just have to take the short throws. They're there.
From behind Dyke. Clutch punt. Pass. Gets a Georgia bounce. And the punt was down at the 36-yard line. And we send you back now to New York and John Saunders for an update.
Well, Brent, we're talking Trung candidates. So guess what? 80 yards on this touchdown run. His career touchdown run averaged 44+ yards. He busts it wide open again. That's why they can't get to the red zone. They get the touchdown and tie it up. It's 7 apiece. Brent.
All right, John, we'll stay up to date on that battle in Tempe. And here it's 3-0. Tech leading, but Quincy Carter and Georgia now with excellent field position. They have reached the 30-yard line on that run by Jasper Sanks. And a reminder that next Saturday some conference championships and automatic BCS bids are on the line. The Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship, Texas, Nebraska. And then the SEC Championship presented by Dr. Pepper right here, Florida, Alabama. So we've got late afternoon and evening in the Bowl Championship Series online at ESPN.com. And there's the Georgia Dome where they will play the SEC Championship game between Florida and Alabama. Pass. The running back blasted in the middle by Chris Edwards, the senior linebacker from Worthing, Georgia.
Pass is another baseball player. Very highly recruited athlete, averaging 5.6 yards a carry. Missed the second half of the Ole Miss game with a stomach ailment. Didn't play that big fourth quarter, but you can see he and Sanks will be the go-to guys in this running game that's going to go right at Georgia Tech. Right up the gut.
We'll see now if he's regained his passing touch. Quincy Carter here on a third down, needing to get inside the 25. They stay conservative, but pass goes to the corner, out of bounds, short of the first down. Georgia stays conservative. Quincy Carter does not have his passing touch back, and they are short of the first down. Chris Young, the sophomore strong safety, makes the play for Georgia Tech.
Now what do? You've already passed up one field goal if you're Jim Donnan. The pitch, trying to run the ball on a defense that you think you can pick up yards. You bring in Hap Hines and kick a field goal, you try to pick up 3rd and 2.5.
They're going to try to pick it up on 4th down as Carter looks over to the sideline. No indication that Hap Hines is coming on the field. I don't think Georgia even thought about it. They think they're going to be involved in a shootout, obviously, before this is over. So they're going again, and now Carter says, I'm going to use a second timeout of this half. Let us talk about it. This defense might be set for what we had called here. So timeout. He'll go over to Coach Donnan on the Georgia sideline right now, and the Dogs are left with only one timeout this half. And the MetLife blimp Snoopy 1 is cruising the skies of Atlanta to provide aerial coverage of today's Georgia Tech game. This blimp cruises at a speed of 35 miles an hour and an altitude of 1,200 feet. Look to the skies for the MetLife blimp in a town near you. 3:05 remaining here in the opening quarter.
Jim told us on the phone that when we talked to him that Quincy Carter ran the option against Florida but got beat up so bad he didn't come back to it through most of the year. This should be the situation if you're going to run the option that you would use it. Quincy Carter, such a great start here for Georgia. Look at the names. Doug Flutie, Tim Couch, Peyton Manning did not have as good a year as the first 2 years as Quincy Carter's had. And remember, true freshman, true sophomore year for Quincy Carter. Pretty good names to be just behind and just ahead of. He has all the tools. I just question sometimes when a guy starts talking about baseball after a tough loss, is he going to reach that level of greatness? I think Quincy has to forget baseball. He's a prototype quarterback.
Keep an eye on his two talented tight ends. 86 McMichael, 48 Johnson. McMichael is on the left side of the formation. They need to reach the 24-yard line. Carter rolls right, gonna keep it, gonna get the first down. Inside the 20-yard line. Quincy Carter rolling to the right, and an alley open, and he streaked for the first down.
Very smart of Quincy Carter to run this ball. I don't think he saw it, but it would have been called a pick here. Watch the receiver pick for the tight end coming out in the flat. Receiver comes down and runs right into the coverage. See that pick? When that happened, the referee was ready to call a penalty, but on a run, no penalty.
Georgia floods the left side. Go to the shotgun in the red zone immediately. Run the quarterback draw. Nothing doing. Good play by Felipe Claybrooks. Number 97 was in the middle of things. He's a junior from Decatur, Georgia. Knows all about Quincy Carter, because they both grew up in the same town. Second down.
There's only one senior on the Tech defense, only one senior playing for the Bulldog defense today. Travaris Tillman, number 26, playing corner.
The backup quarterback for Georgia is now on the field also as a wide receiver. LeBron Mitchell, number 12. They throw to him, and this is Mitchell to the 11-yard line. So a very talented youngster who plays both quarterback and wide receiver makes a big play. Well, coming up next, it's the Skins game right after this football game. Nice of Tiger Woods to give 4 others a chance to make some money this weekend. Sergio Garcia, the defender Mark O'Meara, Fred Couples, and David Duval. One of America's favorite Thanksgiving traditions, the Skins game, coming up next on ABC.
He said he needed rest, Brandon. Maybe it's his accountant and banker that needs some rest, Tiger.
Carrying all that cash out to those airplanes, huh? Coming up now with third down again. Georgia faces it. Here's Sachs tackled in the backfield. Wimbush read the play beautifully. Ricardo Wimbush from Blakely, Georgia, a freshman linebacker, stepped right up and made the stop in the backfield. And now Georgia will go for the field goal.
Wimbush, Gathers, and Jeremy Myers, 3 true freshmen, are starting for this Tech defense. As George O'Leary said, if you don't tackle, we're going to go with the young guys. Happened about halfway through the season, and they have responded.
Hep Hines made 4 of 5 last week against Mississippi. This a 30-yarder to tie the rivalry. Pounds on it. Deadlocked at 3 as Hines hits a 30-yard field goal. Georgia Tech 3, Georgia 3. So you come to a game expecting 2 quarterbacks to razzle-dazzle all day long, and suddenly you wind up in a defensive battle featuring field goal kickers. We've seen that before.
Yeah, it always seems to happen in these rivalry games. And Brent, you know, everybody talks about what's the biggest rivalry. You know, I think I know. It's the one that you're involved in. That's the biggest rivalry. If you're playing in that one, that's the biggest one, because down here, this is a type of a game that can take a rather so-so season and turn into a season maker if you can knock off your rival here at the end of the year.
Well, it was just a year ago in Athens when it did come down to a field goal. and Georgia Tech prevailing. Bragging rights for a year. Today, Georgia trying to regain them. You know, yesterday I had the pleasure of going up and watching Virginia Tech and their talented freshman quarterback, Michael Vick. And when you come away, you get the feeling that no computer in the world can stop Virginia Tech from taking on Florida State. Two unbeaten teams would meet the night of January 4th in the Sugar Bowl for the national championship. Michael Vick, if you get a chance in the next couple of years, make sure you go see him. He's one of the most talented freshman quarterbacks I have ever watched. Todd Blackledge, who was broadcasting the game, certainly agrees. He and Sean McDonough had seen him a couple times this year. And now Georgia having tied it up here against Georgia Tech with a kick to Kelly Campbell. And Campbell cuts back to the 25, out to the 27-yard line, where it will be first down. Vick, if you will, is a bigger version of Joe Hamilton and a little bit stronger arm. Certainly Hamilton, with all the experience that he's had here at Georgia Tech and the great coaching by O'Leary and Friedgen, understands an offense very well. Joe Hamilton runs the show. Ralph Friedgen sends in the plays and all the variety of formations. One of the finest offensive coordinators in college football. Complete to Campbell for 7 yards and out of bounds. And we had a chance to ask Friedgen, how much trust do you put in quarterback Hamilton?
I would never have gone in with all the check with me's we have in the National Football League that I have with him. But he seems to have an understanding of what we want to do and how we want to do it and what we want to run into certain defenses and what we don't want to run.
You see Joe Hamilton, and this is a check with me offense right here. 4 wide outs, a deep look from the secondary. Joe's calling the game.
And they pound Wilder for the first down across the 45-yard line.
Georgia Tech offense, again, have only been held to under 31 points once this year. Ralph Friedgen calling the play, setting up the offense. And when you consider that they're playing with their number 3 tailback, they lost Philip Rogers and Joe Burns. Ed Wilder's been hurt most of the year. You understand what a kind of a job Joe has done this year with the offense.
And Dujewski, the tight end, at the right side of the formation. They get that end around look, and here is the toss. They will frequently use Kerry Watkins, a redshirt freshman out of Louisiana, bring him from the right side of the formation and toss to him as they did that time.
Interesting, I was talking to Ralph yesterday about just this. The receivers lining up in the slots, going the quick motion. He said, you know, Gary, we put it in on a Monday, and I thought it'd take us 2 weeks to put it in. He says the kids fell in love with it. It worked the first day we did it. It was just easy, and he says, I'm just liking it more and more. It really puts pressure on the defense with that quick motion.
Second down for Hamilton and Tech. Play fake. Hamilton coming deep down the middle. Touchdown! Campbell breaks free. A 47-yard scoring strike from Joe Hamilton. Let the fireworks begin.
Throw a short pass to Des White. Throw it deep to the other side. Right down the gut. Ball's in the air. Look at that. Perfect. Right on stride.
Mange adds the extra point. And for the second time today, the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech goes ahead. First it's the flanker around, and then Campbell for the scoring strike. So we'll still have 11 seconds to play here as Georgia Tech drives 72 yards in 4 plays in only 45 seconds.
Balance is so important in an offensive scheme. You throw short, you run an option, you run the fullback, and all of a sudden that defense says, uh-oh, and then we got to stop the run game, and then you can go deep. Joe Hamilton A little bit of a play-action play. Hold the linebackers. Didn't matter. He was going deep on this one. And the height doesn't bother you as much on those deep passes as it does on the short passes. It's much more difficult to see receivers on a 8, 9, 10-yard pass than it is to throw deep against them.
Now Tim Wansley back as one of the deep men for the Dogs. Manje with the ball on the tee. This will be Milliken coming out from the 2. Short of the 20-yard line by 5 yards. Great coverage by the Georgia Tech kickoff team. Jeremy Myers, the freshman out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. As a brother, an offensive receiver here for Georgia Tech, also makes the stop. Final play of the first quarter coming up now for Quincy Carter as Campbell has given Georgia Tech a 7-point lead. Georgia Tech doing a good job of defending Terrence Edwards, number 8. Carter rolling to the right. Fires complete right at the marker. He hit Jermaine Phillips. We'll take a break as the first quarter comes to an end with Georgia Tech leading Georgia 10-3. Timeout. So we're back. Georgia just short of that first down marker when we ended the quarter. So on their first play, they'll have a second down and inches coming up for Quincy Carter. Big fella. You have to be impressed by his size. 6'3", 223 pounds when he moves up under center. Gets a good view of the defense. A strong runner if they want a quarterback sneak here. There was a whistle before the snap.
Tight end flinched on the play. It's going to be 5 on Georgia. You know, Brent, Quincy is about the same exact size as Michael Vick. 2 prototype of the future type quarterbacks that people are looking for. Strong, but
movement by the offensive line, 5 yards.
The most important attribute, I don't care how big or how tall or how fast you are, you got to hit what you're throwing. Joe Hamilton's hitting what he's throwing right now. Quincy Carter missed a touchdown on a wide open receiver. Joe Hamilton didn't.
And now you're going to have to hit somebody from 6 yards away because it's second down and 6 and the ball is moved back near the 20-yard line. So what would have been an easy pickup for first down now becomes a little more adventurous. That a fine pass to McMichael at the 30-yard line. And McMichael, a strong tight end. I told you about Randy McMichael, 6'3". He's a redshirt freshman from Fort Valley, Georgia. The other fellow, Javaris Johnson, is 6'6", out of Anniston, Alabama. And Quincy Carter, ever since he arrived, part of the Georgia attack is to go to the tight ends.
Last week they combined for 9 catches against Ole Miss for 142 yards. That's utilizing that position, and that's utilizing your talent.
The running game has not been that effective so far. So he stays in the air, and he hits Edwards, the freshman, to the 41-yard line, close again to another first down.
And, you know, you're right. When you can stop the run as Edwards comes up hobbled just a bit, then if you're George O'Leary, you're starting to smile a bit because you've got a team that's starting to tackle well, and that's all if you're a coach, especially a defensive-minded coach like George is, says, let's just tackle well. I'll take it from there. Now, George kind of uniquely, Brent, lines up way, way away from the action. Gives himself as an angle, almost buys end zone seats to watch his defense, and then he'll go over to Ted Roof and say, we need to do this or that or this. As an older defensive coordinator, Teddy Roof, first year, and he relies a lot on George's experience.
Could have been a big impact when Terrence Edwards just limped off the field. He's their best wide receiver for Georgia. Nowhere for Sanks. And so now 2 of the better freshmen in the Southeastern Conference have gone off as far as Georgia is concerned. They have lost Terrence Edwards. That did not appear serious. But we have not seen Charles Grant return after he was injured carrying the ball on a 4th and 1. There is Robert Edwards' younger brother on that far sideline. Arantes Grant, of course, their linebacker, is still playing in the game. 7 of 10 for 69 yards, and Quincy Carter has hit his last 4. Second down and 10.
Tight end right here. Nobody on it.
gets protection. Got the running back pass, and out of bounds, not far from the line of scrimmage, with Chris Edwards defending. An ABC Sports presentation of college football, brought to you by Chrysler, giving you back the romance of driving. Burger King, have it your way. FedEx, be absolutely sure. And Tostitos, dig in, kick back. They'll be playing for all the Tostitos next week down in San Antonio. It'll be Nebraska and Texas for the Big 12 championship. And hasn't Texas spoiled Nebraska's last 3 seasons? They have won 3 times in a row against the Cornhuskers. That game for the Big 12 championship. Now Quincy Carter back in the gun at 3rd down and 10. Hit on the blitz. Fires high, incomplete. But a great defensive call that time as they brought pressure.
It was the pressure that saved the touchdown, because Patrick Pass that time went right down the middle. He beat the safety. Pass is going to go right here, beats the safety on the play, but the blitz inside is what really does it. See the coverage, you see the protection right there, and see this is the guy. Just one more second, and you had a touchdown.
Win Kopp, a 50-yard punt his last time out. Left foot high, Hester. And let it bounce short this time, and it'll be down near the 30-yard line. Georgia Tech 10, Georgia 3. Another 28-yard punt. We'll take a timeout.
Back here in Atlanta, Georgia, the equipment staff and the training staff have worked on Terrence Edwards. First, he's got a case of turf toe, so they worked on it physically. Then they went equipment-wise, and they took a set of dikes, and they clipped the front spikes down, cut them in half, hoping to alleviate some of the problem.
Back with Georgia Tech, Jack, 1st down and 10, and Hamilton tripped, pulling out from behind the center, so a wasted play, and it'll be 2nd down and about 11 in the situation. So with 12:53 remaining in the first half on an absolutely gorgeous Saturday afternoon in Atlanta here at Bobby Dodd Stadium. We'll go back to 1893 for the first time that these two schools ever met. And Georgia Tech with the football and the lead right now. The game turned on a couple of plays. Hamilton on a quarterback keeper all the way. Sprints off to the right, breaks a tackle, but he is short of the 1st down marker. In case you just joined us, these are the 2 plays. 4th and 1. Early in the game for the Dogs. Charles Grant, their fine freshman defensive end, is stuffed. Couldn't make it. Then it was Joe Hamilton going airborne for the game's touchdown, hitting Kelly Campbell, and it stands at 10-3 right now with 12:20 to go here in the first half.
Joe Hamilton is really keeping this defense off balance with his legs in deep passing game right now. Georgia just has no idea where the next attack can come as well.
4 down linemen for the Dogs. Bump and run from the corners. Hamilton's got an alley midfield out to the 45-yard line. That's why he has more than 10,000 total yards in his fabulous career here at Georgia Tech.
And it's the way he attacks the defense that makes it so tough. You don't know if they're going to run an inside option play. You don't know if they're going to hand off, run a bootleg, throw deep to those great receivers, or do the Nebraska lead option right here. This was basically a run designed for Joe Hamilton, and the number of hits he takes all game and still is able to throw the ball. He's an amazing quarterback for college football.
Leading rusher, 4 carries, 37 yards. This is Gregory. No more than a yard. The middle of the defense led by Josh Mallard, sophomore out of Savannah, Georgia. Number 98 makes the stop for the Dogs.
You know, handing the fullback to the fullback like that, even if you only get 1-2 yards, is like throwing a deep pass in a passing game. You have to keep those tackles and linebackers honest and respecting the fullback. And that sets up everything else.
2nd down and 9.
Go.
Hamilton. Got Campbell again, out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. Well, it's time now for our Aflac Trivia Quiz. Which UGA won the most games as mascot of the Georgia Bulldogs? Now, there's the new one, UGA 6. So, you know the answer is not him, right? Maybe someday, though. This is a fine young football team. Hamilton rolls right, tosses, got Des White. Got him for a first down, also ridden down by Jeff Harris. How big is Uga? I'll show you how big. How many of you got your own website, huh? Look at that. What a great likeness. Man, you're so handsome.
I tell you, he doesn't answer his email, though. I've been writing him all week. Nothing. Anybody can have a site. It's answering the email that counts.
First down and 10. There's the option. Gregory on the pitch. And he picks up about 3 yards before he's driven out of down. Kendrell Bell, JC transfer, a junior, number 37, and an outstanding young linebacker for Georgia over there on the stop.
Well, this Georgia defense, a once proud defense in years past, but this year they've been giving up points. They've been giving up yards passing. They're second to last in the SEC at giving up points, and you can see Joe Hamilton now is calling about anything he wants and making it work.
Calls pass this time, fires left side, wide open. Watkins down just short of the end zone. A 27-yard pass play. Hamilton, and just as Gary told you, he is having it his way right now.
People always ask me, what type of offense do you think, Gary, works best? I say the one that keeps the defense off balance. When you don't know whether it's going to be a run or a pass, there's not a defense out there in college football that can stop the team.
Hamilton, a great threat also to run inside the 5-yard line. Hands Gregory, pounds toward the end zone. Touchdown! Georgia Tech scores its second touchdown of the game.
A little bit of option, a little bit of fullback, a little quick pass, a little bootleg, a little quarterback draw, and you've got a defensive unit that has no idea where to stop this offense.
Mange. It's 17-3, Ramblin' Wreck. It's the tailback behind the right side. Brent Key and John Carmen open the way. Timeout. Sean Gregory pounds it in, but the drive was impressive. 69 yards in 9 plays in just over 2.5 minutes. And on that drive, Joe Hamilton was 3 of 3 for 40 yards. Mange. Pass. 25. Nice return out of bounds at the 29-yard line. We check in with Jackaroo. Jack.
Brent, if you go to offensive coordinator for Georgia Tech, Ralph Friedgen's office, he's got more tape in there than most blockbuster videos. I asked him a couple of days ago, do you watch that to look for tendencies? He said yes, but basically he says, I like to use the first quarter of every game to see what the opposition is giving us. Then I make the adjustments, and generally we do a little better in the second quarter. That seems to be a self-fulfilling prophecy thus far in this game.
Jack, what does he do now? They're giving him everything.
First down and 10. Quincy Carter needs to take something to rally the dogs here. Here's pass. He'll try it to the short side. Run out of bounds. A couple of yards. Some other action going on today. We send you to New York and John Saunders. John.
Brent, big plays in the Arizona State game. This one, Keith Smith drops back to pass and sends this one to Dennis Northcutt. Catches it in stride, and then his speed takes over. 80 yards for the touchdown as Arizona opens up the lead over Arizona State right now at 14-7. Brent.
And John, we get word that Tennessee leads Vandy 24-10 at the half. That big down here in SEC country. Carter off a quick play fake. Going to go long, wide open. Got him. Touchdown, Georgia. Randy McMichael for 71 yards. How about that? The Dogs are right back.
You got a passing attack, and you're committed to throwing the ball to the tight ends. They are really wild cards because they get lost with the safeties and the linebackers. And when you got guys that are athletes like those tight ends for Georgia and get them deep, it could have been 2 touchdowns to tight ends so far in this game. That's how you answer the bell, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I got to keep flipping my card over. It's just like defense, offense. You know, it happens so fast here.
F. Hines adds the extra point. They go 2 plays. They go 71 yards in 27 seconds. We told you to keep an eye on the tight ends. And here comes Randy McMichael, the redshirt freshman from Fort Valley, Georgia.
See, the safety just goes a bit off the corner right there. His back is trying to get there, but that ball is going to be like a rocket. That's when that strong arm really comes back. Bad angle by Myers, young football player, and it costs him 7 points.
Bad sight for Georgia and its fans. Charles Grant, their outstanding freshman defensive end from Colquitt, Georgia, on crutches. Hopefully, he'll be back playing in their bowl game from the end zone. Kelly Campbell returns this kickoff out to the 26-yard line. And now, let's go back on our Aflac trivia. Which UGA won the most games? Well, here it is. UGA 4. Herschel Walker was his man. 1980-89. 77 wins for UGA 4. Best winning percentage of any of the UGAs over there between the hedges.
Would I have been right to say Coach Dooley's UGA?
Yes.
Yeah, would that have got me in there? Because I think Coach Dooley was the guy that didn't matter what UGA you had. He just won a lot of games.
Wasn't Wally Butts UGA. Here's the handoff now to Gregory. Middle of the Georgia defense holds at the 31-yard line. Gain of about 4 yards on the play. Kendrell Bell makes another stop and very active in the middle of that defensive front as far as Georgia is concerned. He's going to be a whale of a football player.
Yeah, such a good football player. He replaced Will Weatherspoon, the starting linebacker from a year ago. Just a playmaker.
Gregory close to the first down.
Two quarterbacks. Carter, we thought, was starting off a little slow, but look at that. One big pass play, right back in the game. Carter's 9 for 13. Joe Hamilton 8 for 11. Joe takes a few more hits because he runs the ball more in the option game.
Watkins lines up at wingback. 4 down linemen for the Dogs. Base 4-3 look. They start Watkins with Hamilton. Fakes it and then keeps it himself out to the 41-yard line. Well, a reminder that we got more college action coming your way tonight. We got a primetime special. Rose Bowl bound Stanford, led by the all-time Pac-10 receiver Troy Walters. They'll battle the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Our old friend Dan Fouts had a chance to talk to him. He'll be working with Keith Jackson on that one tonight. So we got more action coming your way, and the Dog defense is ready here with David Jacobs, the redshirt freshman, who has replaced Grant, making the stop.
Tech's style on offense is to huddle very close to the football. It's almost a fast break offense for the whole football game. They can catch you anytime on defense. You're a little bit asleep. They'll just run up there and snap the football.
Third down, Hamilton back in that shotgun, left leg well in front of the right. Gives him an advantage as he backs up a little bit quicker. Des White crosses midfield, and Des White gives Georgia Tech a first down.
Well, Georgia came into this football game with 31 sacks, but it's extremely difficult to get a sack on Joe Hamilton in this Tech offense because you never know exactly where he's going to launch that thing from. Again, could be quick, could be option. And look how fast he gets this team up the line of scrimmage and snap the ball off again.
Now they pitch to Gregory. Beats the linebacker and explodes across the 35-yard line. 16 more yards. And now Gregory is the leading rusher for Georgia Tech, passing his quarterback, Joe Hamilton.
These wide receivers for Georgia Tech do so much in the offense. Kerry Watkins that time came right across the middle and got a great block. Watkins only about 185 pounds, helping the running game.
Hamilton with the hot hand. He's hit his last 6 passes. They stay on the ground because big holes being ripped through the middle of that Georgia defense. Noah King, the senior center here from Panama City, leading the way. The guards, Brent Key from Trussville, Alabama, and Jason Burks out of Vinemont, Alabama.
And they're doing it against a couple pretty good football players inside. Marcus Stroud, Richard Seymour, Kendrell Bell. You can block those guys, you know you're doing a good job. Will Weatherspoon's in there right now, middle linebacker.
13 carries for 47 yards for Gregory. That double wing look that they like, and they'll throw out of it too. Good protection, high, incomplete. So the streak ends.
Joe Hamilton's patting him on his chest right there, saying it was my fault, threw a little high. I was talking to Ralph Friedgen yesterday. We were talking about Quincy Carter being a two-sport baseball player. And I was asking him if he think he could be a great quarterback doing it part-time. And he says, well, Joe's the best point guard at Georgia Tech. He doesn't play basketball. I believe him. I believe him.
Third down now for Hamilton. Keeps it. No first, I don't believe. The Georgia defense was ready, and Dustin Lucky out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, making a play here for the Dogs. And a reminder that coming up on Valvoline halftime 99, John and Terry Bowden with scores and highlights. So Terry's daddy, Bobby, and those Knowles will head off for the Sugar Bowl, where in all likelihood they'll be playing Virginia Tech after Tech's very impressive win against Boston College yesterday, as Colorado carries Nebraska into overtime, and the Buffaloes should have beaten the Cornhuskers yesterday. That should be enough to send Virginia Tech to New Orleans. Here's Gregory. Pounds off the right side, and the Dogs hold.
Looked like he fell forward, but you can never tell if the penetration was before deep enough that he didn't fall over the line. Both coaches now have tried a fourth down attempt. George is sure, at least.
So they bring the chains out. Just short of the 20-yard line. Donnan and the Dogs down by 7 points after Quincy Carter hit that 70-yard pass to McMichael.
Look at Joe. Joe's really going to make the call here. Look at, he's right there.
They do hold.
Huh. Both teams go for a fourth down play. Both teams don't make it. Enough penetration to the right side. Kind of just freezes the fullback that time, and Gregory falls forward. Boy, you would think that would have been enough. My first inclination was that he was short, but then I saw him fall forward, and obviously he didn't make it.
Now Sanks and Pass are in the Georgia backfield. Down by 7. Quincy Carter with McMichael operating at tight end. Quincy comes right back to the middle. Diving, incomplete. Near midfield. And for the first time today, he throws to Michael Greer out of Athens, Georgia, who made a diving attempt, but it was incomplete, and it'll be second down and 10. Joe Carter, an outstanding baseball player, as Gary has told you, playing a couple of seasons in the Cubs organization, originally committed here, and then when he came back, he knew that Joe Hamilton was here. He did not want to compete against Joe for obvious reasons, and they were happy to have him over at Athens. And the Cubs say that if he ever decides to play baseball full-time, he's got a chance to make it. From the pocket, Carter fires high and incomplete as Wimbush hit pass. Nice defensive play.
Yeah, I think that one, even though it was relatively high, that was right up by the helmet, and that's where if you're a receiver, you want that football. That one should have been caught. Quincy Carter has settled down a bit now. He's bouncing around in the pocket. He doesn't have happy feet. He just has comfortable feet. When you see a quarterback start to bounce, you know he's comfortable.
And again, their backup quarterback, Mitchell, in as a wide receiver. They go 3 wide on the left side of the formation. Carter needs 10 yards. Gets time. Fires back to Greer, who's got it. First down, Georgia.
Michael Greer was originally a starter for this football team, kind of lost the starting job. Early in the year, he had migraine headaches, then got a little bit of a hamstring, but he had a great football game last week against Ole Miss, coming in the fourth quarter, making some great catches.
The baseball players come back if they get a shot to play quarterback, don't they?
Yeah.
Chris Winking down at Florida State, chance to play for a national title, quarterback keeper. There's that late pitch, now a pass out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And speaking of Quincy Carter, we asked him, what brought you back from baseball to college football?
All the college games were on, and baseball season was still going on, and I was still happened to be in the locker room while the national anthem was playing. And now I'm trying to catch some college football games, and at the same time getting ready to go up to bat because I was the leadoff batter that day.
Yeah, the cheerleaders are much better looking in Athens than they are at Daytona Beach down there in the minor league. Let me tell you, folks, no contest, and the bands are much better too. Second down now. Here's Quincy hauling back, ball high, fires, got McMichael again, and the big fella's in a rumble down to the 41-yard line. He makes a living off his tight ends, 20 more yards.
This is a very simple pass. It's a tight end delay right here. This tight end will block. The tight end from this side will come across, delay, and come right under. Watch this unfold here. Block for just one count. Let the tight end pass, come right underneath it. Easy pitch and catch. Not a lot of thinking for the quarterback on this play, but puts tremendous pressure on the defense.
McMichael, 4 catches, 112 yards here in the first half. Georgia trailing by 7 and driving. Play fake Carter. Under pressure, fires high and incomplete. Johnson, the intended receiver. We send you to New York for an update, and here's our buddy John Saunders.
Brent, not a whole bunch of games today, as you know, but plenty of action. Delvon Flowers here from 4 yards out, fights his way into the end zone. They got an excessive celebration, but still got the extra point from further out anyway to tie the game at 14 apiece. Meanwhile, Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Tennessee is up 24-10, pretty much having their own way. Brent.
All right, John, still 8:57 in that game in the SEC, and Tennessee still hopes to get a BCS bowl, go to the Fiesta or the Orange. We'll see how that all shakes out here a week from Sunday. Carter, shotgun fires, got him again, and it is the sure-handed one, Michael Greer, the junior from Athens, for 11 more yards. And today, the MetLife Blimp Snoopy 1 navigating the skies above Bobby Dodd Stadium. Great aerial coverage here of this action. The Blimp is powered by twin 68-horse-powered engines, enabling it to reach a maximum speed of 55 miles an hour at an altitude of 7,000 feet. Look to the skies for the MetLife Blimp at future sporting events throughout the year. Gorgeous view of the Atlanta skyline here. First down for the Dogs. From the shotgun, the throw back against the pressure. Here's Green on the flanker screen, and Greer is inside the 20-yard line. A well-conceived play.
Jim Donnan has found something right here. When they spread out, the Bulldogs do, with 3 receivers to this side, Tech is bringing the safeties this way and giving man-to-man coverage for the backside. You see 2 first downs and then a throwback little screen. You got one guy, the only guy back there to stop this play. Free safety Myers comes over late. You find a little pressure point and you just work it. Donnan has found one.
We've got a timeout called by Georgia Tech. So we'll take a break. 4:06 left in the half. Timeout. 17-10, and Jack Arute, I know you were over talking to Quincy Carter.
Yeah, Brent, and one of the things he told me is after that day when he almost missed being the leadoff batter, he said, I knew I was going to go back to football because I went out and I bought myself a satellite dish so I could watch all the football until I made my decision to come back.
Gary, I guess you think the only negative about him is the fact that he hasn't beaten the Big Two in the SEC.
Well, he hasn't yet, but it hasn't just been his problem. The rest of his team isn't to that level yet either. Next year, though, I think this team, remember, they get Tennessee in Athens with almost everyone back. Quincy Carter, you look at it, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, 0-5 record, there it is. But remember, a year ago against Florida when they lost, he went for 368 yards. You know, in these losses, it's not just the quarterback that's playing. There's a lot of guys out there.
Isn't that the truth? First down and 10. Power run, touchdown. Robert Arnaud out of Morrow Georgia bolts 19 yards with his first carry of the game. And that could tie it up at 17, pending the extra point.
You got to feel great for a guy like Robert Arnaud. Started his first game as a freshman in 1995, had to redshirt a year with an injury, has been a backup here as a senior, gets in the game and gets the score against the rival.
Hap Hines for the tie. Pulled it to the left, but got it through, I believe. Yes, he did. That baby was hooking, wasn't it?
Sure
Almost
was.
in the other fairway.
They look like our golf game out here. Slices, hookers, and knuckleballs.
Mine never goes to the left.
Oh, they do the same formation. Wideouts come right up here and just gut it this time. The safeties are wide. You saw George O'Leary talking to Teddy Roof, his coordinator. That is good blocking up front. Herndon, Breedlove, the freshman, and Arnaud just gashes this one. Jasper Sanks gets a good block, and that one, you get that passing game. To that point on this drive, it was all pass, only one run. You come with the second run, and you gouge it. And, you know, Brent, we talked about the offenses going for almost 900 yards. They're right on track as you look here.
Well, prime time football coming up tomorrow on ESPN. NFC West battle. Steve Berline and the Panthers take on the Falcons, Atlanta and Carolina. Then on Monday night, Brett Favre and the Packers seem to be turning it around. They look to stay in the playoff picture. They face the lowly 49ers. Green Bay at San Francisco, Monday live at 9 Eastern. My, how far the 49ers have fallen. I was watching my buddy Dick Vermeil with the Rams last week in San Francisco on the telly, and he just beat up on them. I mean, that was no contest out there.
Speaking of no contest, both of these quarterbacks are finding it easy going against these two defenses that have been suspect all year. Quincy Carter, I think, is finally comfortable. They've opened up the offense for him.
Booming kickoff. Campbell takes a knee down there in the end zone, and it'll come out on the 20-yard line.
4 minutes to go here in the first half. This will be the fastball offense that Joe Hamilton will utilize right now. They'll just yell fastball, fastball. That means everybody gets up. Joe Hamilton's stats. That's how you get 10,000 yards. You either throw it or run it on nearly every play.
Deadlocked at 17. Hamilton pitches. Gregory cuts to the 24. Hammered, Wansley, and Orantes Grant.
We watched the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry a week ago, and it's just, this game now is emerging just like it. The hitting is starting to pick up. The teams are starting to kind of face off a little bit. You know the difference? This team has two quarterbacks. This game has two quarterbacks. That one only had one.
Same look, different pitch. Gregory goes to the 31-yard line. And a first down for Georgia Tech with Richard Seymour making the stop. 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining here in the first half. An ancient rivalry, deadlocked at 17. Georgia Tech and Georgia, as you look down, Bobby Dodd Stadium here in Atlanta on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon, sellout crowd. Toughest ticket to acquire as far as Georgia Tech was concerned. Hamilton, now the pitch, fumble. Gregory wraps it up at the 25, but a mistake. So the Georgia Bulldogs come rallying behind the right arm of Carter, who goes over the top for the first one. And then Arnaud powers in for the second one. And Quincy Carter with a successful rally. Remember last week against Ole Miss, he had to rally in the fourth quarter to pull it out. Tied now at 17, and it'll be second down and about 16 yards from where they spotted the ball. Play fake. Hamilton fires. Campbell's got it out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Just a little short of the first down, however.
Beautiful timing that time. Joe Hamilton comes out, knows he's got a deep drop, comeback route to the outside, coming back out here. Now watch when this ball is let go. Campbell isn't even out of his break yet as Joe Hamilton throws that ball right now. Look at that easy lane to throw it. High school guys can throw that one. That's easy pitch and catch, perfect timing.
Now the 3rd and short. And the Dogs will move a backer right over the nose of the center. Looking in case Joe Hamilton keeps it. He does. He slips the tackle for a first down. The play was read perfectly by Boss Bailey,
Yeah, you're right.
Champ's younger brother, and he simply could not make the tackle in the backfield.
I don't think he believed that Joe had the ball. It was great ball handling that time, and Boss Bailey ran right by him, and Joe slithers for a first down. That was huge.
2:17 to go now for Tech.
Georgia stays in the zone. Very, very soft zone.
Going to throw it on first down this time, but Hamilton can't find somebody open. So he takes off, crosses midfield, out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Another first down on a 12-yard scamper. And now Hamilton here in the first half has rushed for 61 yards and 8 carries.
How would you like to defense that? Drop back in the pocket. You got a guy that can do all that stuff, and Joe Hamilton, as a former athlete, I like to call him an athlete right there, chose Georgia Tech over Nebraska. He'd look good there. And how good would Courtney Brown look in this team? I mean, 2 losses away from Georgia Tech being a real player in this thing.
First down. Hamilton pulls it off the fake. Got him wide open. Des White. 24-yard line, 23 yards on the pass.
Joe Hamilton's going to have to take a timeout on this one because he got hit right when he threw the ball. Watch Kendrell Bell come in here and hit him. Des White's going to stop right here. He's wide open. Joe comes out. Here comes number 37. Look how early he had to throw that football, and he got pasted when he let it go. He looked over the bench and he wanted to call time, and Ralph said nope.
First down. Fake again, and Hamilton stays in the air, end zone incomplete. They throw a flag on that one, yes.
Yep.
No question about it. Was pass interference on Jeff Harris, the senior from Jacksonville, Florida. He was riding him into the goal.
Jeff Harris is one of the defensive backs that was replaced 2 weeks ago. He was in there when Ben Laird lit him up for 400 yards.
Previous slot plus automatic first down.
But these 2 receivers and the combination of what Joe can do. Look at, he's looking over here. These 2 guys miscommunicating, do not know what it is. The ball gets snapped when they're talking, and they really don't get in position, and that's what causes the interference there, a lack of communication, and that's what those different formations do to you.
Not as penal as the NFL flag. It's a 15-yarder from the spot. Puts it inside the 10-yard line. Gives Georgia Tech a first and goal. Deadlocked at 17. Wishbone look, play fake. Hamilton rolling, keeps it. Eyes in zone, dives. And he is whacked right at the goal line.
Is he going to get up?
He was met at the pass. Harris and Larry Mann just collided with Hamilton as he was going for the end zone, and medical attention is coming out. He will have to leave for at least one play,
unless
but he was
take a timeout.
Pounded.
Bootleg. Bootleg play right here. Joe tries to get to the end zone on his own. Watch him get hit coming from this side. Oh my goodness. Holds on to the ball. And if you're a Tech fan, hold on to your heart because he got hit right on the hip and leg. Bootleg has the option to throw into Ed Wilder right there, the fullback, but watch this collision. Holy cow.
And Tech does take a timeout. Hamilton is up, and they will use a timeout, so he does not have to leave the game. And let's go to John and Terry to find out what's coming up at halftime.
Brent, thanks a lot. Coming up on Valvoline Halftime 99, some scores and highlights. Troy Walters, outstanding wide receiver at Stanford. Plus, we'll talk a little BCS.
Yes, and BCS cannot be determined until next week. Big 12 championship between Nebraska and Texas. The last chance for Nebraska to use strength of schedule and margin of victory to move ahead of an undefeated Virginia Tech.
It's all coming up on Valvoline Halftime 99. Brent, back to you.
Hey, John, you and Terry, lock those computers up, baby. Send Virginia Tech to the Sugar Bowl. They deserve to play it with an unbeaten season. Frank Beamer's done a great job. I think even some Nebraska fans would have to agree. Send Cinderella to the ball and see what she can do on the night of January 4th. Now, let's regroup here with the Ramblin' Wreck and see what's going to happen. Hamilton stays in. Hamilton is returning after taking that wicked blow, trying to turn the corner. He's carried 9 times for 68 yards. Hamilton returns to the lineup. This is a second down and goal. Bet on a handoff. Here it comes. Touchdown, Ramblin' Wreck, as Gregory pounds it in again.
What a perfect drive for Joe Hamilton. He ran the option. He ran the play action pass. He ran the bootleg and kept it. And then he kept his composure, got up off the mat, took a timeout and stuck it into the end zone. What a great 2-minute drive.
80 yards in 9 plays in 2:45. And Luke Manje adds the extra point. Georgia Tech, for the 3rd time today, goes ahead. But Quincy Carter and the Dogs left with 1:16. And Jackaroot, if nothing else, Joe Hamilton learned how to be tough over there in Alvin, South Carolina, my friend.
Brent, in fact, something similar to what happened to Joe here happened in Alvin, South Carolina when he was playing in his grandfather's sweet potato patch. Courtney Brown was on the other side of the ball along with Pearson Prelow. They were a little bit older than Joe, and they knocked Joe down when he was playing quarterback. Joe started to cry, and the old men around that watched the game, they said, hey, Joe, you don't cry, you tough it out. So he dusted himself off, he went back to the huddle, and guess what? He burned both Brown and Prelow in the next play for a touchdown.
Yes, sir. And here today, he didn't cry a bit either, did he? He took his licking and he kept on ticking. Came right back on in.
That one, though, that's one of the best helicopters I've seen in a while. He got taken by 2 guys at the same time.
Philip Newman with the ball on the tee.
Plenty of time for Carter, though. 1:16.
Critical mistake. But, you know, talking about Joe, we had a chance to ask him, what is your approach to the game?
The name of the game is, you know, first downs, touchdowns, and winning. How you get there and how you get it done, it shouldn't even matter.
Winning time. That is indeed.
Can you remember the 3rd and short when he made the first down? He ran right out of Boss Bailey's arms. That was making a first down and then making a touchdown run. That's a guy that just put a drive together. 1:16, plenty of time left.
Georgia has scored in each of its last 2 offensive drives, but remember this, they've only got 1 timeout left. They'll flood the field with 5 wideouts. Let Quincy throw it now for the gun, come up underneath, and that is well short of the first down marker, so that clock continues to run on the reception by Jermaine Phillips. They're running some valuable seconds off the clock. 2nd down. Middle. Phillips hit by the DB, and that'll cost them 15 yards.
Yep.
No question about that one. That'll put it across midfield.
Chris Young that time panicked. That was not even really a catchable ball, I don't think, and he just didn't trust his instincts. Ball's going to be lobbed down the middle this time. Really not a very good throw, and a DB needs to play the ball here. Comes into the picture, now watch this. Ball is clearly playable by the defensive back, and he just hits the receiver, and that's an obvious penalty.
Donovan's team with a chance to deadlock it before the intermission. 46 seconds. With a quarterback like Carter, that can be an eternity. 5 wide receivers. Pass the running back is off to the right. Carter under pressure. Slips away, but down he'll go. A big sack at the 48. The first sack of the game for Georgia Tech.
I think it was Clay Brooks that got it that time. His second big play of the game, coming around the corner.
Georgia uses its last timeout. 33 seconds remaining here in the first half. We'll take a break. So Brent Musburger with Gary Danielson. And Gary, you don't like that 5 receiver formation by Georgia.
No, I think they'd be better off leaving their tight ends in the game. First of all, they're playmakers. I just don't know if they have enough wide receivers to make it go. They're using the 5th wide receiver as a running back. I think they could just put Patrick Pass back in the backfield and use 4 wideouts. They have better routes out of it.
And remember, their best wideout, Terrence Edwards, that injured ankle, and he is not on the field right now for the Dogs. So they're without their best deep threat at wide receiver.
See, this is a running back right here, not much of a threat.
33 seconds to go. The protection broke down last time, not this time. Fires high, incomplete. He threw to double coverage that time. Georgia Tech had jumped the play, Myers and Young, and there was no chance that he could slip that one in. It didn't seem from up here.
No, you're right, and it's just crowded out there with 5 wide receivers. You're going to see the secondary. They're just going to play the soft umbrella, keep everything in front of them. After the ball's thrown now, this is after the ball's thrown, this guy comes out late. That's really not a wide open receiver. That's good defensive secondary.
Third down with 27 seconds on the clock. To stop it with the first down, they have to get to the 37. Under pressure, he's going to have to run away from it. Now fires high, incomplete. 4th down with 20 seconds on the clock.
Well, I wonder why that wasn't offsides. I thought the defensive end that time, Clay Brooks, beat the snap. And that forced Quincy Carter out of the pocket. They'll have to punt the ball here. 4th down. Clay Brooks was off right as the snap, or just, I thought, a little bit in front of it. He beat Jonas Jennings that time cleanly.
20 seconds to go, leading 24-17. Georgia Tech defends it in case the Dogs decide to fake it, so there's no chance here. Kopp hangs it in the air. Hester lets it bounce. It'll be downed inside the 5-yard line. And Georgia Tech would like the clock just to run out in this situation with 4 seconds to go. That's a 49-yard punt, so they are going to have to snap it once. Joe Hamilton, though, can take a snap and just end it right now here in the first half.
Yeah, not
Tech
even
leading at 24-17. There's no need here
That's right.
for them to risk anything, leading by 7 and back inside the 5-yard line.
Not even Joe's that good. 4 seconds to go that far.
And he went back and he told the referee exactly what he was going to do. There it is. Takes a knee and time runs out here in the first half. So the shootout underway between Georgia and Georgia Tech. 24-17. Tech leads it. And the Yellow Jackets, led by Joe Hamilton, takes the hit. After a timeout, hands it off. Tech leads it. We're at halftime. Timeout.
This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
Georgia Tech leads Georgia in a game with 41 points and more than 560 yards of offense already. Gary Danielson, what do you make of it? What's your impression?
The water kind of seeks its own level. I think that's probably sums it up. The offenses have played about the way I expected. Unfortunately for both teams, the defenses have played about the way everybody expected in this football game. A lot of points, a lot of offense, far from over.
Who do you think will score last?
If Joe Hamilton has the ball at the end of this game, I put my money on that guy, I think.
Well, Hamilton will get it first. Georgia with the ball on the tee to kick it off here. They'll take a knee on that one and bring it on out. Let us check in on the Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half stats.
Well, in the open, we talked about 900 yards they averaged. You can see the defenses were giving up over 800. There we are, over 500 yards plus at halftime. You know, the key thing that I think so far in this game, remember, Georgia Tech comes into this game rated last in all of college football in turnover margin. No turnovers in this game. That's why I think Tech's up a bit here.
Hamilton at the line. Play fake, gonna put it up on first down. Got it. Des White. Jackaroo, what the coaches have to say.
Well, Brent, Jim Donnan talked about one thing, only the offense. He said, hey, our receivers have got blinkers flashing in front of you, and you can't hit them. Now, over on the offensive side of the ball for Georgia Tech, they were concerned about Joe Hamilton, their quarterback. I asked Joe how he was. He said, it's not my hip. I took a little bit of a hit in my knee. He's wearing a rubber brace to try and stabilize it.
All right, Jack, first down after that pass play, and here's Gregory again, who scored 2 touchdowns. Remember, Hamilton's best pass of the day probably was the scoring pitch of 47 yards, Gary.
Well, what stands out this is you see Joe Hamilton moving the ball around the field, but look at this. Throwing the ball deep. Look at that, 4 for 4. Throw the ball deep that well, and you're going to put points on the board.
Second down and 8 yards to go. Hamilton straight back, and he's got Campbell out of bounds right at the marker. The linesman making the spot. We also got word from Jack a short time ago that Georgia must go without freshman defensive end Charles Grant and without freshman wide receiver Terrence Edwards, both injured in the first half, both outstanding freshmen, 2 of the best in the SEC this year. Grant on crutches, watching from the sideline, and that was a first down for the Rambling Wreck.
That'll make it tough for Quincy Carter. He was one of the playmakers, but look for the tight ends to be involved for Georgia in the second half. They're their best chance.
Double wing formation now for Tech.
2 wide receivers in tight.
Motion started using Gregory to midfield for a couple of yards.
Let's update the Dell Game Solution so far. Said throw it short and then go deep for cement. Yep, that worked. Neutralize Stroud and Seymour. Haven't even heard him call the name yet. Yeah, that worked. Now, you remember miscommunication? Georgia did a bad one there. That hurt right there. Georgia having trouble with the multiple formations. Game plan is starting to work. Inside, Seymour and Stroud have been quiet.
Hamilton on a play fake, gets protection, and fires right on the money to Des White. Wansley, the defender, but that is another first down. And Georgia Tech, to steal a phrase from Hank Stram, is simply matriculating right down the field here, lads. That's 17 yards.
Yeah, but it's all matriculating to the left side, a mismatch. Wide receiver, everything's going to the left side of the formation. And right now, Tim Wansley, number 2, is having a problem. He's going to need help.
Seymour and Stroud are out as Georgia rotates defensive linemen here. Hamilton on a keeper, turns back and dives across the 30-yard line. Nobody was covering the backside. We'll send you to our backside. Here's John Saunders in New York. John.
Brent with the Burger King update. I'm not sure how to take that, but we'll go to the Arizona State highlights. Delvon Flowers, want to see a terrific run. Almost gets knocked down to his backside and then takes off 38 yards for the touchdown. Arizona State strikes 21-14. And Brent, from the back to you.
Hey, John, your most important protector over on the backside of left tackles, my friend. Here comes Campbell on an end around. Breaks free, and he's inside the 15-yard line and out of bounds at the 13.
Seen about every offensive play you can imagine. Ralph's got them all out. Here comes option pitch coming back the other way. Watch Chris Campbell, the big tackle, get a cleanup block here from the backside. That's really what's going to open it up right there. Get it out, and there's the gash right there. Chris Brown, the big tackle, peels back and gets the block.
And gives Tech another first down inside the 15-yard line. Wishbone look. Watkins goes back. Hamilton keeps it in the middle of the defense. Marcus Stroud said, not this time, little fella.
Huge split that time by the offensive guard. Stroud, they tried to put on an island that time. Stroud just beat his man up front. They tried to run that kind of midline option right at him, and he just made the play.
Second down. Gregory behind Wilder. White's the slot receiver for Hamilton.
Let's look.
Here's Gregory, and Witherspoon tackles him, and this will bring up a 3rd and long. So Georgia Tech moves inside the 15-yard line without any trouble, and then Georgia holds on 2 plays. Need to reach the 3, almost the 2-yard line for a first down.
No help out here.
Motion. Hamilton. Right side, incomplete. He knew he was facing coverage. He threw it out there to see if Watkins could run under it. He could not, and it's field goal time for Tech.
That's what you love about Joe Hamilton. He doesn't give up on a play. He just doesn't scramble out of there. He says, listen, I don't want to take a sack, but I just don't want to get nothing out of it. I'll throw it up there. Either my guy gets it or nobody. And worst thing is, we get a try for a field goal.
Which could give Tech a 10-point lead. This will be a 29-yard attempt against Georgia. And he nails it. 27-17 on the Manje 29-yarder. Timeout. Luke Manje, who just made it a 10-point game, will kick it off because Newman's kickoff sailed out of bounds late in the first half. So Manje now handling kickoff chores. Milliken and Pass are back deep for the Dogs. Pass number 6, shaking and trying to get loose down there by the goal line. Good idea. Well covered high kickoff.
Talked about that last drive and how Ralph Friedgen designed it. Look at this. All right here, picking on that left quarterback Wansley right there, all down the sideline. Just made that drive work its way down, as you said, Brent, matriculate down the left side. We talked about Jim Donnan finding a little bit of a pressure point. Now Ralph Friedgen has found one. The comeback route to the outside for Georgia Tech has been good to him.
Pass shaken up on that kickoff return. Sanks in the backfield. Edwards injured and out. Play fake. Carter rolls hard left, dropped.
Let's take a look at the way Quincy Carter is attacking this field. And what stands out to me, Brent, is look at this. He's hit every zone. He's got them all covered right here. He's gone to all the zones, thrown the ball effectively. That's when you know you got a good pass offense going, where you're throwing the ball all over the field, make them cover the whole field. Both tight ends in the game. Those are the playmakers. Get the ball to the tight ends.
Greer and Parker are the 2 wideouts. Carter fires high for Greer and incomplete. He probably spends so much time hitting those 6'3" and 6'-inch tight ends that everything else to a smaller wideout tends to go high, as Greer's only 5'10".
He started out the first half throwing high. Look at the footwork, comes back, nice bounce, gathered. I mean, that's just a plain miss. That's when you got to make, you're depending on your quarterback. All 5 of the offensive linemen did a good job, and Quincy Carter has to hit those type of plays. Started off slow in the first half, same in the second.
Only 2 of 9 on 3rd down. Middle, deflected, intercepted. Picked off at the 25-yard line, and Georgia Tech on the Tavares Tillman interception, the senior from Lyons, Georgia, and they're in business in the red zone.
Tavares Tillman gets the interception. Javaris Johnson is the guy who Quincy Carter tried to go to. The tight end is just outside the picture, coming across the frame. Quincy looks left, comes back, throws the ball, and you can see it. I thought he was interfered on the play that time. Chris Edwards was all over his back, and Javaris Johnson thought he was also. Had his hands all over him. He was more than 10 yards downfield, and actually while the ball was in the air.
Hamilton starts the motion. Looks right, fires end zone. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Des White, 18 yards. So go for the throat after a turnover. How many times have we seen it work at the collegiate and the professional level? Don't sit on it. Go now.
A team that's last in the country in turnovers get a turnover, and what happens is come down, this guy goes in, White goes out and then back in. Watch Des White. Goes out and then back in. That's what really favored him.
Manje adds the extra point, and so Joe Hamilton has tossed for his second touchdown of the day. He also has rushed for 71 yards.
Here's Des White. He's going to come out, fake the flag, and then bend into the end zone. Perfect route by Des White. Joe Hamilton has enough time to wait. There's the bend to the outside, curl back into it. You got to give credit to the offensive coordinator for that design. That's perfect.
They may juggle the secondary again in Athens. Timeout. It was an emotional Georgia Tech sideline following that score, led by their other wide receiver, Kelly Campbell, saying they can't come into our house and beat us. Pass from the 7-yard line. Looking for an alley on the left, and he may have it. Out to the 31-yard line where he's brought down. So this was a look at the sideline, and even prior to the start of this game, it was Kelly Campbell.
Let's go. They can't beat us, baby. They ain't now. They ain't now. You Steve. Let me see that point.
That is right out of Rudy.
You bet.
Nobody comes into our house and pushes us around.
You know what I liked in that, though? Both of the wide receivers, Campbell and Des White, went right to their offensive line and congratulated them on great pass protection.
First down, and now Quincy Carter in a serious game of catch-up. Sanks on the screen. And near midfield, a nice play.
I thought it was pass interference, man. Let's take another look at it. Here's the defender, Edwards, right here. Here's the tight end. Chris Edwards is going to mug him just as the ball is thrown. Looks like he grabs his arm as the ball's thrown right there. Ball bounces up in the air. Tillman gets the interception. One more look. Right side of the screen. See how the hand came loose real late that time? I think that was possible.
One thing to keep in mind in the college game is you can maintain contact until that ball is in the air. First down and 10. Quincy Carter going to drop it off to the other side. They screen right now. They screen left. Cross to the 48-yard line. I'm not saying that was not pass interference. His hand may have stayed on him a little bit too long, but there is a huge difference for a defensive player in this game than in the NFL, where they've got that 5-yard zone and then you got to get off them. Second down now coming up for Quincy Carter and the Dogs.
From the Tech 48.
Back in the gun. Left side, first down, and this time they go to Johnson. And ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time. Budweiser, delivered fresh daily from our local brewery near you. And inspired technology with a human touch. Nokia, connecting people. Well, soon the Nokia Sugar Bowl may be connecting Florida State and Virginia Tech. Now on a first down for the Dogs inside the 40-yard line. Show blitz. Did they jump too far and make contact?
Defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down. 5 times in the history of this series, Georgia has come back to win down 14 points. Georgia Tech has never won a game in this series down 14 points. Georgia has to be patient now. That's the most important thing. Make first downs, be patient, and the pressure will turn back if they have some success.
How about when they're down 17? Here's Arnaud, who exploded for a touchdown, and he runs it to the 21-yard line for a first down. Let's check in with Jack Arute. Jack?
Well, Brent, you saw a lot of the emotion on the Georgia Tech sideline. One of the reasons may be because of what's missing in this area. Anybody that's ever watched a game from the Bobby Dodd Field here knows that there's the giant inflatable yellow jacket here. Not today. It seems some Georgia fans vandalized it last night. They couldn't put it up today. In fact, a lot of the players gathered in this area before the game and said, we're going to get one for them.
That is a quick finding of guilty by Jack Alou. Arnott. Kreisen holding on inside the 20-yard line. .45 here in the third. Randy McMichael trots back in from Donnan sideline.
A week ago, 5 trips again inside the 20-yard line, 1 touchdown.
The big 2 tight ends are down. And he gets one of them, McMichael, out of bounds, first down inside the 10-yard line. Looks to me like they can work that formation all day long.
Javaris Johnson, Randy McMichael. This time it's McMichael, the freshman. Look at this arm over. Watch this. Arm over, perfect throw to the outside. That is something that they feel confident throwing the ball and moving the ball down the field.
That fellow may have a future.
He's got one in college and the next level.
He's down the left side of the formation, and now they're going to run Arnott. And Ross Mitchell, the sophomore linebacker out of Grayson, Georgia, stepped in and made a fine stop for the Rambling Wreck. It'll be second down and goal.
One of only a few stops we've seen in regular yardage behind the line of scrimmage. Mitchell had to leave the game last week against Wake Forest, and that really is exposed. Remember, they lost their other linebacker earlier this year, and Mitchell has been their guy. Two tight ends split out in the slot.
Carter straight back middle, deflected, incomplete.
Another interference, I think.
There's the flag down at the 1-yard line.
This time it was Jeremy Myers.
Fresh set of downs would be the important decision here if that's the call.
Pass interference, defense, 1st and 10 at the 2-yard line.
Third penalty against Georgia Tech.
You're going to see it. The receiver's going to come across the middle right here to the outside. Myers is going to bite at it and hit him before the ball gets there. Boom. That one's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
To make sure.
No, absolutely. He powered into it. First down and goal. Arnott, the tailback. Dives. Touchdown, Georgia. Great cutback. And his second touchdown of this game. Gary, there's a young man. You told the story of what he's come back from, and now he's scored twice.
Really has. They've been using him inside the 20-yard line as their touchdown back, and he's got him in the end zone twice. But, boy, that was a nice answer. Jim Donnan using his talent the way he's got it. You got tight ends, match him up and throw the ball to him. Nice drive.
Robert Arnott, a senior out of Morrow, Georgia, playing in his last Georgia Tech game. And he cuts the lead to 10, powering in for his second touchdown in Atlanta. Timeout.
Robert Arnott takes a breather on the sidelines here in the Georgia Tech game. Arnott credits a lot of his newfound toughness to a new hobby that he took up over the offseason. He says, for mental agility and toughness, I now practice Taekwondo.
Paid off here today with those 2 touchdowns, Jack. Chad Holman with the ball on the tee. Campbell coming out. 20 to the 28.
You look at Georgia Tech, last 7 possessions, 355 yards. That's plus 50 yards a possession, 4 touchdowns. That's a pretty good ratio right there. And remember the last drive, they had the mismatch to this side. Wansley, number 2 on the wide receivers, have not been able to hold up, and Georgia's going to be forced to take a timeout. You know, right after a kickoff, you have to send your defense out there.
Let's check in with John Saunders in New York. John?
Brent, Arizona and Arizona State, 7-point deficit, looking to make it to 10-point lead. No. The fake, Ryan Keeley to Todd Heap, 28 yards for the touchdown on the fake field goal. And Arizona State has a 28-14 lead. Brent.
John, I got 2:30 there in the third. We've got 6:18 here in a shootout in Atlanta with Georgia Tech leading Georgia 34-24. And a reminder that coming up next, we got the Skins game coming your way here on ABC. El Nino from Spain, Sergio Garcia up against Marco Mira, Fred Couples, and David Duval. Gary, who do you like in that foursome? Garcia, Mira, Couples, or Duval?
I'll take Garcia. He's just loose enough to win this thing. Plus he gets that wild hook going. Then
There you go. Speaking of Skins, no, wait a minute. He's not.
How come he doesn't spray under here is what I want to know. That's like when you go to the tanning salon, you got to lift your arms up sometimes, right?
Down. Speak for yourself, my friend. Speak for yourself. You're on your own on that one, baby.
Come on, we're partners.
You're a lone wolf on that one, my friend.
It's just my job to point out those little things, you know?
Georgia Tech.
Gave me a lot of money to do that. Soon to be a little amount of money, I think. Nice shot from our director, wasn't it?
So Clinksdale on a play fake down by Hamilton. Stands tall and uses the fullback Wilder as a pass receiver for a first down. A slick 11-yard play going to Wilder as a receiver in this game for the first time.
What's underrated about Joe Hamilton, we've talked about his athletic ability, his throwing ability, it's his decision making. He's running this fast break offense. Look how quick he's back up at the line of scrimmage to keep Georgia completely off balance.
Hamilton's quarterback draw in behind Wilder to the 45-yard line. Another good call. That's a 16-yard gain. A quarterback draw all the way, and Wilder got out in front of the quarterback that time and was helping lead the way. Now 12 carries for 87 yards rushing for Hamilton.
There's Ralph Friedgen, the architect of this thing. Says his hero is Rick Majerus.
Speaking of Ralph, yeah, indeed. Speaking of Friedgen, LSU, give him a call.
Yeah, why
Take
not?
him down there. My goodness, nobody else seems to want that job. Talk to Ralph Friedgen. A change. Three-stepper. Incomplete, and there was contact. Another penalty flag. That's a 15-yarder and a first down. Jamie Henderson in too tight on the coverage, apparently.
Throwing the fade that time, one-on-one to the outside. Throw it up and get a penalty.
Defensive pass interference, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Look at the end of this play.
Okay, I want to take through this play.
Well, one more time. Throw, was it in field? That's what you want to know, right? Could he got it? I think he could have. Lands just inside.
Let me go back to Friedgen for a second and ask you. Let's follow up on him.
Yeah.
Not getting any job offers as a head coach.
You know, somewhat he's somewhat self-deprecating. He says, you know, it's my weight, it's my bald head. I got to keep my hat on. But you know, I think he's just too smart. Sooner or later, someone's going to give him a chance.
Des White to the 7-yard line. The young man who a short time ago caught his 14th career touchdown pass here at Georgia Tech, equaling the school record, has just caught a 23-yarder.
Remember, Ralph was in the pro game. This is what the pros do. You find a matchup that you got, and that's a push-off. Wansley was calling it to the referee that time, and he was right. Pushed him right on the head.
You said he was a pro coach.
That's right. Pro coach, and he teaches a pro pass route right there.
8 catches, 134 yards. Clinkscale stood up at the 5-yard line. So Gordon Clinksdale, the redshirt freshman out of Doraville, Georgia, getting some playing time here with Gregory over on the sideline.
Yeah, that is really a style of an NFL coach. If you got something in your favor, you just keep it in your pocket and you go to it when you need it. Right now, Friedgen says, I've got a first down anytime I want it by running the deep out to the left side. I can use it when I want to use it, like having a wild card.
Gregory replaces Klink Scale in the backfield. Gregory has scored twice.
Watch the fades, bump and run to the outside.
Start the motion with Des White. There, a quick handoff to Watkins, and on the counter, Georgia was ready. And now pushing and shoving, and they go out after. We've got Watkins is right in the middle of it.
Well, they better be careful. They're both going to get thrown out of this football game. Two important players, Marcus Stroud and Kelly and Watkins. And you see Ralph Friedgen right there. He needs all three of his guys. Ah, this is what I've been waiting for, a real rivalry.
Stupid, stupid, stupid.
And now both coaches have got to hope for offsetting penalties here. It's a good rivalry when you got to bring in the police.
We have offset and personal fouls, but 2 players have been ejected.
That's what happens.
I'm sure that Watkins,
I think it's going to be
one of the players.
Watkins and Stroud is my prediction. See, Stroud's going to hide in the middle of that thing right there and say, maybe they don't have my number. I just kind of get right in the middle of the huddle.
Now the umpire's standing right over the football, so there can be no snap yet. Take a look at this, Gary, and see if you can sort out. Probably trying to strip him of the football, and he objected to it, is what I would guess.
It was a Adrien, number 94. Now watch, there comes Stroud in number 97. There's a left and a right. There's another right. Stroud's in the game.
Play fake, Hamilton fires back, touchdown! And it's Joe Hamilton goes to his tight end. Konrad Andrzejewski for the touchdown.
This Bulldog secondary gouged all year. Ben Laird embarrassed them, and now they're facing a better quarterback today than Ben Laird.
Luke Manje. The neon flickers in Atlanta. The Ramblin' Wreck. 41. Georgia 24 with 3:20 left in the third quarter.
Damn, man.
Take a look at this from behind as Hamilton on a beautiful fake to Gregory hides the ball on his hip, comes up firing. Andrzejewski slides to the end zone. 7 plays, 72 yards, 309 for Hamilton, who has now thrown 3 touchdown passes to 1 for Quincy Carter. So the shootout is suddenly becoming a one-sided affair, with Heisman Trophy candidate Joe Hamilton starting to run up the big numbers.
And all but 3 of those receptions have been gone to his wide receiving crew today. 2 to Ed Wilder and 1 to Andrzejewski now for the touchdown. And how did Stroud get away with that one, Brent? He was right in the middle of it. Of course, he had more hits in that fight than he had all day in the football game.
Well, I would have to wait and see as to which player was kicked out.
I think it was Adrien, number 94.
Now, remember what's critical about this on the high kickoff, okay? Fielded by pass. I'm going to go back on that roll in a moment here. Pass looks for daylight. And he's down on the 30-yard line. At the collegiate level, if you are kicked out in the second half, you are also penalized the first half of the next game. That means that for the bowl games, the 2 players that were ejected will not be able to play in the first half. That is the college rule. Down we go to Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, let's give you the update from the referees and the officials. For Georgia Tech, it's Kerry Watkins, the flanker, 5'11", 180, out of Louisiana. He has been ejected. And then Dustin Lucky from Stone Mountain, Georgia, for Georgia, has been thrown out of the game as well.
So that is a loss of both starting defensive ends for the Dogs. That is huge. And Johnson out of bounds at the 38-yard line. They pick up about 7 or 8 on first down. So there is the defensive player who has been tossed out. He will miss the first half of whatever bowl game the Dogs fall to if they lose this. Dustin is a senior. Watkins a redshirt freshman, and certainly Lucky should know better, being a senior, and there's no excuse for either of them, as a matter of fact.
And considering they've already lost Grant, you're right. Both defensive ends for Georgia out of the game.
Second down and 3. Pass, Pounds, first down. A reminder, next Saturday now, we're going to decide all the BCS bids. Conference championships are on the line. Here's Nebraska, led by Eric Crouch in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship. Nebraska, can they finally end that losing streak against Texas? And then how about right here, the SEC championship presented by Dr. Pepper. Can Florida avenge that tough loss to Alabama by a point down to the Swamp earlier this year? That's where they will play in the Georgia Dome next Saturday night. 2:44 to go now in the third.
800 and counting in total yards with another quarter to play.
Play fake, gets protection, coming down the middle, and he simply overthrew a wide open Thad Parker. We send you to New York and John Saunders. John?
Brent, plenty of offense in your game, as well as Arizona State. Dennis Northcutt, who already had a touchdown receiving here, takes this one 81 yards on the punt return, and no one gets even close. Takes it in for the touchdown to keep this game still up for grabs. For more, log on to abcsports.com and ESPN.com, part of the Go Network.
Yeah, that's a pretty good neighborhood war down there, too, Mr. Saunders.
No one's getting close here either, Brent, including anybody on offense.
Now Carter, left tackle, does a good job, and he threw it high to Johnson that time. Jonas Jennings threw a good block on that side.
Yeah, he did. Brent, there's nothing in Carter's footwork or release that would indicate why he's throwing high, except that he's just juiced. Too fired up to do everything on every play. He needs to settle down and just let things happen. His footwork is fine, his delivery's fine. He's just thrown high on maybe 8 passes so far in this game.
And he may have missed a touchdown.
Absolutely, 2 of them. We had one early in the game and another one right there.
So here's third down. They flood the left side. 4 wide receivers will go down. Under pressure and sacked. The second sack of the game as Felipe Claybrooks pours in for the Ramblin' Wreck.
Earlier, Claybrooks forced Carter out of the pocket by beating offensive tackle Jennings. This time he does the same thing right here. Gets off on the snap, runs right this time, goes inside Jennings, and no escape in this one, no matter how good of an athlete you are.
Cop punting for Georgia. Inside at 2 minutes in the third quarter. Hester back deep to return it for Georgia Tech. Can field it. Fumble! Loose Georgia. Georgia has it at the 10-yard line. A scoring chance as Hester coughs it up again, and it will be 1st and goal for the Dogs.
Hester just misjudged this play. Stood there, and then the ball ended up being over his shoulder. It was up a lot. Watch how he has to turn, and it's actually behind him. See that? Just misjudged the ball, and that's what cost him.
Remember in the first half when he didn't look around? Well, this time Jermaine Phillips doesn't miss. Number 5 wraps it up, and he gives the Dogs a golden scoring opportunity.
One that they have to score, and they have to put 7 points.
Arnaud with 2 touchdowns lined up behind Carter. The quarterback keeper around the left side. Quincy walks. Touchdown. Quincy Carter gives the Dogs a life as he circles the left side.
Quarterback counter this time. Robert Arnaud does it again. The remaining running back, he either scores or this time he gets a big block on the play. What a big turnaround. I thought this game could have got ugly if Tech just catches the punt.
Hines pulling one to the left again, but through it goes. He's an adventure, but they're good. And it's It's back to 10 again, a 134. This one far from over.
Keep those tape machines running down in the truck. A lot of stuff happens in this type of game. Arnott comes around the corner right there and makes the play. Watch this block. To the outside. Cleans up, makes the block right there. Quincy, as you said, walks right into the end zone.
And a word from Tennessee. They beat Vandy today, 38-10. That's the final from the SEC. I know a lot of you folks down here in this part of the country interested in that game. And again, in case they were not listening, congratulations go to the Virginia Tech Hokies. I went up there to Blacksburg yesterday to watch him. Frank Beamer has done a wonderful job up there. He has a magnificent freshman quarterback in Michael Vick, and they've got all the elements. The only question that I would have is whether or not they've got enough defensive backs to cover Florida State if they win, they get into that Sugar Bowl. And the question, I got to tell you, Frank's old friend is Ralph Friedgen. Frank, get on the phone. Call Friedgen. He caused that Seminole defense nightmares earlier this year with Joe Hamilton. Find out exactly what your old buddy knows about that Seminole defense. Debrief him. Ralph will be glad to help you. Oh, am I going to hear from Bowden and the boys for telling them that. It's a 10-point game, 41-31 now, 134. Holloman. Take a knee and it'll come out on the 20. You know, we talk about Ralph Friedgen, and Gary Daniels has told you what a great teacher he is, and we had a chance to ask him about the teaching side of football.
Not only teaching football, but teaching about life and how to deal with setbacks and how to deal with success and a lot of things. And, you know, I think it's an integral part of college life. I think you can learn a lot by playing football. It's the greatest team game God ever made.
Can't argue with that. First down and 10. Hamilton. Gregory is back at tailback. Change the call. Dogs back off. Gregory straight ahead. Stopped in the middle. Tyrone Robertson, a redshirt freshman. Seeing some action. Georgia's used a lot of defensive linemen here today, some by necessity. They've had an injury and an ejection up front. Remember, they need some stops against one of the best quarterbacks in the country. A multi-faceted offense. Play fake. Hamilton under pressure, throws high. Des White almost made an acrobatic catch, but it's incomplete, and it's 3rd and 9.
And that was one-on-one coverage that time. Finally, Timmy Wansley gets a win against Des White. Comes out there and knocks the ball down, and Friedgen goes right to where he thought it was. The outside of the play comes in and out, and watch the coverage. Right on him all the way, the ball's thrown, and finally, Wansley wins one. You got to admire him. He's hanging in there.
3rd down and 9.
Middle of the field should be open.
He'll look at it from the gun. Keeps his eye in the middle. Now sprints out, throws back to it. Fumble, incomplete.
Right in the middle of
it off. He had it right there, right at the first down marker. And there was a juggle by Kelly Campbell. And Georgia Tech forced the punt, and suddenly the Dogs with a huge life following that big mistake on the punt by Hester.
One thing you always have to realize that when you're a football player, your competitor in any sport is, forget this momentum thing. I know a lot of people believe in it, but if you're an athlete, you got to not believe in it. You got to say, just keep playing. Look up after the end of the game and find out what's happening. Just ask Colorado.
The most important snap's the next one. And Cash is going to let this one roll down, and now Quincy Carter will take over 65 yards away. And the MetLife Blimp Snoopy 1 under the command of our captains, Brian Comer and John Conrad, with help from co-pilot Snoopy. MetLife Blimp Snoopy 1 and Snoopy 2 travel approximately 200 days a year, visiting towns and cities throughout the U.S. and Canada. Look to the skies as the MetLife Blimp covers sporting events into the next millennium.
It was tough on Quincy Carter this year and Jim Dodd, and they lost a lot of weapons from that 98 team. Remember, Champ Bailey was one of the receivers, Tony Small, their 2 tight ends, Jermaine Wiggins, Larry Brown, both in the NFL, had to replace them all, but they're much more comparable now than they were at the beginning of the year, and Quincy Carter's starting to feel comfortable with these guys.
Trying to get the right formation on first down. He's got it now. Gets protection, bobbled incomplete. So without Terrence Edwards, Jermaine Phillips fumbles it, and we check in down below with Jackaroo. Jack?
Well, Brent, Gary Danielson, you're right about this momentum thing. Maybe it's not as big a thing as people think, but one thing that is important for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets right now, they all got together when they came off the field and said, look, we have got to control our emotions. We can't let them get the better of us. I think it's the counter of what you said, Gary, about Quincy Carter being so jazzed up and he's throwing a little high. You've got to kind of downplay the emotional side.
Second down and 10. Let's see what he can come up with here, Jack. He's going to come straight back, get set, quick feet. Going to come down toward Phillips. Dive, no, incomplete. He was well covered that time by Tillman, the senior and perhaps the best of the defensive backs.
Travaris Tillman has been so valuable. One of the senior leadership. They don't have a lot of them. Tillman's right here playing safety. Now watch how he just reads the eyes, playing a zone coverage, catches the receiver late, and then turns around to avoid the pass interference call. That's a guy that has experience starting at corner and safety.
Quincy Carter's got ice cold. He's missed his last 4. Remember, he ran in for the touchdown after the fumble punt. 19 of 35 overall, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 244 yards. He must get this ball to the 45-yard line or they'll be forced to punt. In trouble, steps away. Now fires. Got it, but a penalty flag comes down.
It's going to be pass interference, but Georgia will decline.
What a great run.
Yep.
First down, Randy McMichael, the huge tight end from Fort Valley, Georgia.
There's something, aren't they?
Well,
those two guys, they really are. Was that McMichael or Johnson? I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. McMichael just shielded with his body that time. Made the catch almost like a basketball player.
He's caught 6 for 136 yards here
Holding
today.
against the defense during the pass. The penalty is declined. First down.
Quincy Carter was so good with his footwork that time. We talked about how well he throws without his feet. Watch his technique right here. Gets in the pocket, nice bounce. Now he comes up. Now watch him throw all arm. Watch, quick. You don't have time to set up. You just got to throw no matter where your feet are. That's how you make those plays as an athletic quarterback.
The offensive line is doing a good enough job that they can send out both tight ends as receivers.
That's the quarter.
As the quarter runs out. A 10-point game, 41-31. Georgia Tech with the lead, but they'd have even a bigger lead except for the mistake. Hester back, coughs it up. Phillips recovers. From there, Quincy Carter scores. Back for the fourth quarter after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
What do you have? What do you have? Listen down the varsity. I know you got the sound on. Our producer, Bob Goodrich, over the ABC trucks, very close by. He wants 2 hot dogs and a chocolate milkshake. Will you send it over for him, please? He's a little hungry down there.
Bob,
it, boys, huh?
Send the bill to Bob after, right?
He'll pick that dinner up.
Yeah, that's a cheap one.
First down and 10. Quincy Carter and the Dogs trailing it by 10. Carter comes straight back. It's good protection, incomplete. Just off a little bit, but we must say that Georgia line, Jennings, Steve Herndon, Lucky, the brother of the lad who was kicked out, Breedlove, and Stinchcomb are doing a fine job of pass protection out there.
Breedlove is another true freshman playing in the SEC. That takes a lot of talent, play offensive line. Number 7.
And John Stinchcomb is the brother of Matt, who was drafted in the first round by the Raiders last year. He was an All-American tackle here. He's a redshirt freshman, the younger one is. And Carter straight back, looks sideline, fires, intercepted on an atrocious pass. And Hester, who fumbled the punt, gets a chance by picking off the pass thrown by Carter. There is a penalty flag down, however, at midfield. So hold on.
Georgia Tech's offsides. Yep.
5-yard penalty repeat.
Passing game is communication between the receiver and the quarterback. You'll see the jump off sides. Good call. Just as the ball is snapped, he's in the neutral zone. His feet are still there. That's a good call. In fact, the linesman was in front of the Georgia Tech bench that made the call. So you know it wasn't anybody from Georgia in his ear that time. But Quincy Carter dodged one there because the receiver, Phillips, ran a different route than Carter thought he was that time. He threw a strike for an interception.
40 seconds.
Second down and 5, but a fresh life for Georgia.
Here's the two tight ends together right here.
Quarterback draw, looking for a first down. Got it. Spins to the 33-yard line. First down. Georgia on a 13-yard run by Quincy Carter, who has now rushed 6 times for 15 yards.
A quarterback matchup that we knew would be good. Just look how good it is. Joe Hamilton having almost a career day. Of course, every time he plays, it's like that. But Quincy Carter, who's going to make a run, Brent, I believe he's going to be one of those front runners for that Heisman next year. He is going to make a run. He and Michael Vick are going to give Drew Brees all he can handle.
3 outstanding quarterbacks heading into next season. And don't forget Mr. Winky. Carter swings it out to the right. Here comes Shanks back on the field. Inside the 30. Busts his way powerfully for another Georgia first down.
Tell you, Jasper Shanks right here, smart runner. He knew where his help was going to be. His help is going to come from the guard coming out. He swings out and cuts behind the guard. Watch this. Little flip play. This is almost like a run. Here comes Breedlove. Now cut inside of him. Set him up, cut inside. You don't even need a block sometimes. Just knowing where your help is good enough.
Down by 10 with a first down inside the 25. Michael skims to the right on the formation. Got Johnson, the other tight end. And it only took 3 white jerseys to bring him down around the 15-yard line. Myers was there, Wimbush was there, and help from their friends that time. As you look down on our scene here, late afternoon, 41-31 and a wild one. Georgia Tech leading Georgia with 13:20 left in regulation.
Brent, that's the 10th catch for the tight end position. 6 and 4 between those two guys.
And it won't end there. Second down. Pitch back. Shanks has got it. End zone, touchdown, Georgia. A beautiful pitch by Quincy Carter, who spent part of his pregame working on that quick pitch to the trailing back. A 15-yard run. The defense fought Carter, and he just simply put it into Shanks' hand.
Jim Donnan kind of kept his hand close, but you could almost smell today that he was going to use the option play. Watch him freeze the defensive end when he pitches that thing, and then Shanks just takes it right into the end zone.
And Hines, that's his spot, pulling it to the left. 41 now 38. It's a 3-point game. 8 plays, 65 yards in 2:35. Shanks closes in on Georgia Tech. And we've got a timeout in Atlanta. That's a lot of winning on the other folks' field, and Jim Donnan starting to make up plays as we go along here, and a wild one. You see, featuring more than 800 yards already. We've still got 13 minutes left in regulation. Glover and Campbell go back deep for Chad Honneman.
Is it a free pizza or something if we get to 1,000 or something?
Campbell. He can run. Going down at the 24-yard line. An ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Impala by Chevrolet. Let's go for a drive. Sears and the Sears National Champion Football Trophy. Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline. And State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. First down now for Georgia Tech and Joe Hamilton. They lead it by 3. Remember, they once were up by 17. Hamilton on the day, 18-25 for 281 yards and 3 touchdowns. Gonna put it up on first down. Got it back to Campbell. Campbell trying to get to the marker, could not, as the Dogs corral him a couple of yards short. Timmy Wansley out of Buford, Georgia, makes the stop.
This is really the first drive now that Georgia Tech has had to go without Kerry Watkins, one of their 3 speed receivers, thrown out of the football game. It's a 17-point game then. Now it's a 3-point game. So what does Ralph Friedgen do? Goes with 4 wide receivers.
There's his double wing look. And they ride the running back for the first down. Of course, the only question when you look down on Joe Hamilton, all of 5'10", when he stretches a little bit, is whether or not, and we asked him whether or not he could play in the NFL. Here's what he says.
If I get the opportunity and then I can't, it's okay. But if you don't give me the opportunity and just say that I couldn't do it anyway, I think that'll ride me for the rest of my life.
Let's call Warren Moon, call some of those fellows who went to Canada first, Joe, and you will wind up with a chance along the way. First down and 10. There's the pitch back, slick move. Used one of his wings around, but Georgia was ready for it. Timmy Wansley again making the play on Will Glover. Now Glover, a freshman from Tampa, is going to have to play because Kerry Watkins has been ejected from the game. And right now it looks to me like this offense misses Watkins, who was ejected because of that little tussle he got into a short time ago. He'll miss this in the first half of the Tech Bowl game, and the coaches were not pleased when he came to the sideline. Over the middle, incomplete, misfired on Campbell, and now big third down coming up for Tech.
Kevin Ramsey, defensive coordinator for Georgia, has decided to take away Des White now. Tilting his defense towards Des White, doesn't feel as threatened by the three wide receivers. A good call by Ramsey. Here's White down at the bottom. He's going to get help from a safety deep.
Hamilton needs to reach the 46-yard line. Under pressure, steps away from it, and he'll take off, but he'll be far short, and Georgia Tech is forced to punt. Great play by Marcus Stroud, their junior defensive tackle out of Barney, Georgia.
It's amazing how delicate these offenses are built and how important every part is to it. Last week against Wake Forest, Tech loses Des White, things get out of sync. Today, Watkins goes down, things out of sync.
Dyke punting. Pass from the 21. Run out of bounds by Myers on that far side at the 25-yard line. August 6 says, come on, Quincy, keep it up. We're only down 3. Timeout. With 22 completions, his two tight ends, McMichael and Johnson, have caught 10 of them already. First down now for Quincy Carter. The Dogs trail it by 3, coming out from their own 25-yard line. McMichael, 86. Pass drops it. Second down and 10 on the drop by pass.
You know, this comeback might be led, if you look back to last year's Peach Bowl, down 21-0 to Virginia, come back and win that game 35-33. Remember a year ago, if you're a Georgia fan, the Georgia offense in the fourth quarter all year only scored 17 points. Talking to the players about that, they said that Peach Bowl taught us that if we concentrate, we can come from behind.
He'll look the shotgun. They flex the two tight ends off the line. High, caught, first down, and they go to Johnson. A reminder, at the end of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university general scholarship fund. Beginning this year, Chevrolet will also donate 2 $1,000 high school scholarships.
It's too bad more colleges don't utilize the tight end. That time, a very good receiver matched up on a linebacker. That's a mismatch, big-time mismatch.
First down.
There it is again.
Their run sinks. Big hole in the middle. Pounds out for 12 more yards and another first down, Georgia.
He was tackled by number 33.
And a player injured on the field is Tony Robinson, a junior defensive tackle. He was in on that stop.
Number 93, Tony Robinson, shaken up on the play for Georgia Tech.
So we'll take a break. 10:05 left. 41-38, Georgia Tech. Timeout. The hot hand belongs to Georgia. They trail it by 3. They come up a yard shy of midfield. Carter, that option look again. Here's Sanks. Got about half of it.
Jasper Sanks on the carry.
So it'll be 2nd down and 5. We get word from the Division I AA playoff. Illinois State beat up on Colgate today, 56-13. Our director, Drew Ezikoff, says we should double-check that score, lads. So, no, it's official. Sorry, Drew, about that. The gate didn't come through. They were an underdog in that one anyway. Illinois State's got a good team. 2nd down. Here's the option. Look the other way. Now the pitch to Sanks. Short of the 1st down. Well, a reminder, primetime NFL football coming your way. Tomorrow on ESPN, in NFC West battle, Steve Berline and the Panthers take on the Falcons. Atlanta at Carolina on ESPN. Then Monday night on ABC, Brett Favre and the Packers seem to be turning it around. They look to stay in that playoff picture. They face the 49ers, Green Bay at San Francisco, live at 9 Eastern, right here on ABC. 3rd down and 1 coming up for Quincy Carter and the Dogs. Jennings shaken up.
Same bad ankle. And it fell on last week. Had to come out of the game. Practiced all week. See that big right one taped up a little bit more. That's probably 2 rolls right there. It's 1 roll when it's not hurt. The option has kind of popped into this football game, and Brent, I talked about the 4 wide receivers, 1 running back being a better formation. That has really moved into this football game right now. Keep the tight ends in the game and run the option.
That's a freshman, Alex Jackson, who has to step in at that left tackle spot on 3rd down and 1. Jackson with his hands full. They immediately put a tight end, Johnson, next to him to help him. They pitch. It's a halfback pass, and pass throws it. Greer got it. A beautiful halfback option play from Patrick Pass to Michael Greer, 31 yards, and the Dogs are in business.
Remember, Patrick Pass is also a baseball player, drafted by the Florida Marlins. You know you got to have some kind of arm. Split screen here. Greer goes inside, fakes the crack. Watch how he holds off the defender right here. Slows down, keeps the defender on his back, and makes the catch. Doesn't reach back, he reaches forward to catch the ball. Perfect job of making a pass look perfect from pass. Pass from pass, fair pass.
Got it.
Somehow.
It was.
Somehow. Gutsy call. You got to believe Jim Donnan was going to go for it on 4th down if it didn't work out.
That's Tillman, who's down, too, and Georgia Tech can ill afford to lose him. Let us go down below to Jackaroo. Jack.
Well, Brent, you and Gary and myself have talked about the fact that Quincy played for the Chicago Cubs organization. They told him to report to Daytona Beach, Florida at the beginning of last year. He played there till May 1st. That's when he hung up his cleats and said, I'm going to Athens, Georgia to spend the summer with the Georgia Bulldog football team. He worked out every day in the informal workouts, specifically working with his receivers. You know, Gary, as you know, as being a quarterback, there's almost a 6th sense between a good receiver and a quarterback. That seemed to come Quincy's way this summer.
Well, I ran to Wishbone in college. I was sick when our sense was sick because we just got out there and blocked. But you're exactly right. Keep those guys in there. Now, Georgia is going away from the home crowd. You can see the red right there. It kind of ends right on the 20-yard line right there. And going all the way the other direction is where the Georgia offense is gone. That was a gutsy call from Mr. Donnan right there.
You know, another game of local interest, Division I AA. Georgia Southern, a fine team, pounding Northern Arizona, 72-29. The score of that in the 4th quarter. I got a question for everybody. How come it's so easy to have a Division I AA playoff, and we can't do one in this division? Just asking.
I think it's spelled bowls, don't you
First
think?
down, I guess that's the deal. So our 2 tight ends today, they have been difference makers with 11 receptions for 188 yards and 1 touchdown. 13 for 132, but now perhaps the most important drive of this football game. A 1st down outside the 10-yard line. Shotgun look, Carter gonna run with it. Cut to the outside, not much doing. Myers forces him out of bounds at the 9-yard line, bringing up a 2nd down.
Jeremy Myers had 17 tackles a week ago against Wake Forest. When you get the ball run on you that many yards, maybe your safety has to make that many tackles. A freshman out there, brother is a wide receiver. coming up and making a big stop.
They trail it by 3, 41-38. Second down. Here's Sachs. This will be third down from the 6-yard line.
Georgia Tech continues to stay in a soft zone. Don't have any confidence in their man-to-man ability against the receivers, basically the tight ends. Teddy Roof staying in the zone, even inside the 10-yard line.
And if the defense holds here for Georgia Tech, the Dogs would be forced to kick a tying field goal, or at least attempt one. They've got a third down, and they need about 6 yards for a first down. They got the 2 big tight ends, remember. Carter's going to go for it from that shotgun look. Wants to roll to the right, fire, corner, incomplete, and it is 4th down. 4th down coming up. The Georgia bench thought that interference should have been called down there, but I'm not sure about that.
I think Thad Parker caught the ball, but he was out of bounds. Here it is right here. It's going to be a fade, come back to the outside. Quincy's going to come out and see if Parker doesn't catch it, but he's out of bounds. See how he's out of bounds right there?
Are you sure he's out of bounds?
That's a good call, I think.
You only need 1 foot in bounds in a college game.
I think he's out of bounds. Landed right out of bounds right there.
Knee went down, and so here comes the 23-yarder. Here's Hap Hines. This for the tie. It's his angle. That's the way he kicks it. That was a setup for him from the right hash. No question. That is 17 unanswered Georgia points to tie this game at 41. They were down by 17. Here it is. Another look at the receiver who made a great effort on this game. Watch the knee.
See, it looks like it's up in the air to me right there, and he lands out of bounds.
Thad Parker. Tied at 41. Do you like offense? Stay tuned, everybody. And there's Georgia on fire, coming from 17 down to tie the game with 6.5 minutes to go here at Atlanta. An old neighborhood rivalry for a year's worth of bragging rights, just like an Alabama, Auburn, or Arizona, Arizona State. You can go on. The teams that don't have a national championship at stake, but they want to win this game. Holloman into the end zone, and Campbell with that speed coming out again. 25, 30. Fine return. And Campbell may be shaken up. That could be a huge injury, but let's take you back now, because I think Gary Danielson was absolutely right as he called this from the corner, and this is as Campbell will be tended to on that far side. But take a look at this, Gary.
Further review, watch as Parker's going to put his knee down, then it comes up as he catches the ball.
Watch the knee.
Up in the air, and he lands out of bounds. That's a great shot. And Brent, as you wanted to point out,
I want to
right
show you
there.
this angle right here. Take a look, not at the ball of the receiver. Look at the official, folks.
Yep.
Looking right there. He had the best spot in the house to look at that.
The tough thing for the official, though, is to simultaneously watch the ball and the knee. That's why I think the NFL is right to go into that replay system. I mean, it's so important, and it was cleared up right there.
This could be a huge loss, because for Georgia Tech, remember, Kerry Watkins has already been kicked out of the game. Now Kelly Campbell is in pain on the far sideline.
And Brent, you know, Des White last week got hurt on special teams covering a punt. So you look at what happens, losing Des White last week against Wake Forest, and possibly right now losing Campbell on this return on special teams.
Now here is Campbell, number 6. Now watch, he'll cut on over to the left, finds that crease, and then as he tries to turn it upfield.
He fell on from behind.
Yeah, sure did. Now, that's a young fella. You see, grabbing at his ankles.
Yep.
He's caught 6 passes for 92 yards here today. And Watkins, who's already been kicked out of the game, 2 for 41 yards. So they're losing 8 of the completed passes. That's 8 of 19 that Joe Hamilton has completed here today. That's almost half the production.
Right. And not only that, it makes it easier to double team Des White. So it actually hurts Des White's production in this game too.
Now, if time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report.
Brent, Since Watkins was thrown out of the game, Georgia Tech has 22 yards total offense.
I got a personal message. You may want to pass one along, too. I got to tell my wife, don't go to the airport till I call you.
This thing may last a while, right?
922 total yards in this game. We are over the 900 mark. We're deadlocked now. It is 1st and 10. Hamilton. Oh, picked off. It's intercepted. Ball never hit the ground. Interception. Georgia inside the 50-yard line. Great grab by Cap Burnett. 23, a redshirt freshman, stayed right with it off Myers' hands.
This was like a Matt Davison one, off the feet, off the hands for Nebraska, only the offense got it. Watch Myers lay out on his ball. Wansley, who's hanging in the football game, but it's different covering this guy. And I can't tell if that hit the ground or not, or if there was a little bump before the ball was there, to tell you the truth.
Same official on the other side,
Yep.
and I believe it hit that other leg when it came up. There didn't seem to be any question. He was all over it. Now it is Georgia. In Georgia Tech territory. 1st down and 10. And here's Johnson, the tight end, ridden out of bounds at the 40-yard line by Ricardo Wimbush. Well, the Matt Davison play, of course, was the miracle catch in the end zone.
Now, this was a bounce off of one guy, off some shoes, and a catch by the offense. And here's one that goes to the defense. When the ball starts bouncing around here, anybody can get it. And I don't think it hit the ground.
2nd down. Carter. 1st down. Johnson, the tight end. Out of bounds inside the 35-yard line, and they simply cannot find a way now to get Johnson or McMichael out in this game. Two outstanding tight ends.
Remember the pressure point that Ralph Friedgen and Georgia Tech used against Georgia to the outside, the comeback. Well, the pressure point against the Tech defense is right there. Linebacker against a tight end, a better receiver against a linebacker that isn't used to covering people man to man.
Johnson now was 7 for 63. McMichael 6 for 136.
It's there again.
Both of them standing up. They'll run Sanks. Keep the defense honest. Can't get up on the run. Down to the 31-yard line. And a reminder, we got prime time action coming your way tonight. More college action. Rose Bowl bound Stanford. What a fascinating season they've had. And Troy Walters, you get a chance to look at him against the struggling Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Keith Jackson and Dan Fouts. I want to tell you, Mr. Jackson, I talked to Fauci. He said that you may soon wind up with a winery up there in Northern California. You know, when he was with us, my friend, we got him those Miller Lite ads. Come on. 2nd down and 6 now. Just kidding. From the gun, it's Quincy Carter rolling left. Incomplete. Edwards got a hand on it, I believe.
The turnovers continue to go against Georgia Tech. Last game of the season, only 1 fumble recovery. Last, 114 in turnover margin. They need one bad as Quincy Carter is continuing to stay hot.
He's thrown for better than 300 yards in this game. He's 25 of 45. And the crowd in Wrigley Field, Grant Field in Atlanta, comes to its feet. 3rd down and 6 now for the Dogs.
And they got to have to burn a timeout.
They're going to call a timeout. They'll burn one, and that's going to leave them with only 1. Is that correct? Let me check with Roger Riley, the stats man here. That's it. Dogs are down to 1 timeout. We'll take a break. Some of you folks just tuning in now for the Skins game, just hang on a little bit. We'll get right to that as soon as we get finished. Garcia, Duval, O'Meara, Couples underway. Here it is 3rd down and 6. We're tied at 41. We've got 5:19 to go in regulation. Carter's back in the shotgun. Edwards coming through. Got it. Johnson inside the 20. Rumbles, dives, end zone, touchdown. Touchdown. Johnson takes it in. 30 yards out, and Georgia goes ahead after being down by 17.
That's how you go for the pylon. Last week, the Ohio State runner Jonathan Wells didn't go for the pylon. It cost Ohio State. This is how you go for it. Lay out, touch the pylon and you get 6 points and a possibility for the extra point here. What a catch, because that was a rocket. Carter threw to him.
He'll be coming to the left. No, he laid that one out the other way. Got it. It's a 7-point lead at 5-12. 48-41 with Joe Hamilton still coming to bat.
3rd and 5. You're just going to come right out of here. It's man-to-man coverage all the way this time. Just their guy beat Tech's guy. Watch this throw. Pretty good coverage. Oh, nice catch. Stretched out. Now watch him take it for the pylon. Reach out, dive, and touches it. That's all you need. As Chris Young came across to hit him, but too late. Man-to-man route. Come to the outside. Tillman gets his hands on him, throws too good, and then Young comes across and just enough of the pylon to get the touchdown. Fisher's got all the action right there. It's in every call.
24 unanswered points. Des White replaces Campbell as a return man, and Joe Hamilton waits his turn.
Joe does it and brings him back. He's going to have to do it without 2 of his key receivers, Campbell and Watkins.
So the offense has slowed down since Watkins was ejected, and now Campbell is out with an injured left ankle, we are told by Jack LaRoute down below. Holloman. And this will be Des White. Left side, and Des with a fine return out to the 32. And so here he comes, Joe Hamilton. We ask him, how confident are you, Joe, if you need a 4th quarter comeback?
It comes down to that, man. We'll win the game. You know, that's my last game out on that field, you know, against Georgia. And you know, 4 minutes left, and we got to have a touchdown or field goal. I think we'll win the game.
Your turn, Joe. 5 minutes to do it. Down by a touchdown. Gregory's his running back. The option, here's Gregory. Powerful run for about 8 yards on 1st down. And Georgia Tech coming down the stretch.
Joe Hamilton, 3 timeouts remaining. Has all the time he needs on this. He can take his time, run the ball, make 1st downs, no hurry. I just don't know if he has enough weapons, enough speed at wide receiver. That'll be the question.
Glover is the slot man. Myers outside him. Des White short side. They're going to option it for a 1st down. And Gregory about 4 yards shy of midfield with Richard Seymour making the Georgia stop.
He was tackled by number 93, Richard Seymour.
So the clock stops now as the chains are moved.
2 things you don't want to do in golf, Brent. Play behind Jasper Parnevik, he's so slow, or schedule a golf tournament right after a Georgia Tech game. This thing will last forever.
Play fake Hamilton. Comes right side, and there's Glover. Wansley, the defender, and he's got a 1st down at the 40-yard line on a 15-yard throw from Hamilton to the freshman Will Glover out of Tampa's Jesuit High School.
Wansley was in perfect position to make a play on this one, but just played it a little too conservatively. I always tell young quarterbacks, at the pressure switches to the defensive backs late in the game, they don't want to give up the big play. You can throw in front of them.
Now it's White and Myers, and Hamilton pulls out. Got Des White, got him. Great catch by Des White. Fingertip control, out of bounds at the 7-yard line. 1st and goal as Ralph Friedgen moves his fastest wide receiver still on the field to the short side, gets the matchup for 32 yards.
Wansley bites. He needed either to get a jam on him and help his safety coming over the top here. Watch him bite. He comes up on the run. Yep, no run. Ball's thrown out and a wonderful fingertip catch by Des White.
Now Joe Hamilton, dangerous on the run. They show the wishbone. Wilder lines up as the fullback. Gregory and Des White are the halfbacks. Joe keeps it and slips to the 5-yard line. That was Stroud pulling him down. And Gregory is shaken up on the play. Slow to get up and come back to the huddle as we pass that magic 1,000-yard mark here. 1,029
Plus
total
1,000.
yards.
Us Purdue guys just estimated.
Yeah, but I've got Roger Riley over
All
here.
right. We just estimated.
With the mauve man, I've got all my helpers. I've got an advantage. Second down and goal. Play fake. Too far out in front of him. That Gregory, and he led him by too much. And it will be 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line.
Nicely set up that time. Noah King and Brent Key were both out there on a little bit of a slip screen. And you're right, the ball was just thrown a little too wide.
Ralph Friedgen obviously has 2 downs to get the touchdown here. They're down by 7. There's 2:42 on the clock. They don't want to be settling for any field goal right now.
Remember the bootleg that Joe ran in before. See if they don't get him out of the pocket.
Georgia has to be aware, of course, of the quarterback draw. I'm sure that's well defended. Hamilton moving hard left, throws it. Got his man. Glover, touchdown. Georgia Tech, and we're an extra point away from being deadlocked at 48 as Hamilton makes the play. But how about this freshman from Tampa, Will Glover, stepping in there and replacing Campbell and Watkins.
Jamie Henderson this time just lays a hit on Glover, getting Joe out of the pocket. Opportunity to run or pass. Watch, perfect throw. Look at this hit. Oh, catch it and your head hits the ground.
Tied.
Will Glover still hasn't got his breath. Here's going to be the hit coming from right there. The ball is thrown, plenty of space, but look, it's going to hit. Keep your eye on the ball. Perfect job by the receiver right there. Doesn't hear the footsteps. Wham. Nice job by the freshman.
Will Glover's first ever touchdown. He'll never forget it. It has tied it up here against Georgia with 2.5 minutes to go. As Joe Hamilton, remember, he said, put me behind. I'll be there. And he drives them 68 yards in 7 plays in 2.5 minutes.
And what did Jim Donnan tell Jack Arute early? I just want one more point, whatever they get. I don't know about our defense. I don't know about it. Just give me one more point. I'm sure he'd take 3 now.
Well, our Chevrolet MVPs of this game is certainly no question. The way these 2 quarterbacks have dueled each other in this contest, we would have to name Quincy Carter and Joe Hamilton as our players of the game. And a recognition of the effort, Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Beginning this year, Chevrolet donates $1,000 to 2 high schools.
Brent, remember that graphic about Quincy Carter being 0-5 against the 3 big guys? Now, what happens if he loses this game? Does next year's game they show an 0-6 graphic?
Hey, I'm not the one who wanted to show that graphic. Don't be looking at me. Here comes the kickoff. Manje pounds it. Out of bounds, and so a mistake by the kickoff team.
Still 0 for 5, but what a great football game he's had. Who cares? You play that well, you got to get some other guys to help you.
Now the question is, can this Georgia Tech defense stop anybody? 2:32 to go, and Quincy Carter, who has already thrown for 331 yards this afternoon.
Burned a timeout. Remember, only 1 timeout, but with 2:32 in the college rule, plenty of time. Will it be Hap Hines again this week?
Parker and Phillips are his wideouts, and his 2 tight ends are the go-to guys. Play fake, gonna come down that sideline again. A wobbler, Phillips, out of bounds. Out of bounds, 2nd down and 10. No question about it, the receiver was out of bounds.
They tried to bait Georgia Tech that time, faking that little flat pass to the tight end, and then going for it all on the first play. Ball kind of drifted on Quincy out of bounds. If he'd have kept it in the playing field, might have got an interference call. But the ball was out of bounds, thus no interference.
Second down and 10. Deadlocked at 48. A classic. Carter to the middle. Got his time, and Johnson drops the ball. One of the first times today that I can remember saying about either tight end, he drops the ball at the 43-yard line, and that brings up a third down. One more stop, and Joey Hamilton will get it back with 2 minutes to go off a punt.
2 minutes to go and all 3 timeouts, too. Georgia has to have a first down. They can't feel good about Joe getting back on the field again.
O'Leary wants one stop out of the defense. Third down and 10. Hamilton wants the ball back in his hands. Carter fires for the first down, and diving incomplete.
It's going to be interference.
A penalty flag down at midfield, and that will give Georgia a fresh life.
Javaris Johnson does such a nice job of making himself big like a basketball post player.
First down at the spot.
He just turns around and makes himself big. Watch it. Comes out, hooks out. Oh, it was Patrick Pass, excuse me. Look at that. Johnson slipped on the play and passed from behind. Hester comes right over the shoulder to get the interference.
Pass checks back in, and Arnaud leaves.
Pass, pretty good athlete. Throw the ball, one routes as a receiver.
On first down, against the base 4-3 that Georgia Tech uses, and Carter right away. Going to drop the screen to pass. Georgia Tech read it, but Pass with his athletic ability scoots beyond the 45-yard line. Made the most of it. Could have lost yardage on the play, but as it is, he gains only about a yard.
The last couple of third down throws by Quincy Carter. Tight end for a touchdown and a big interference call right there. He really cranks it on that third down, throws it extremely hard.
2:04. Arnaud back. Carter will go from the gun. Sprint to the right. On the move, wants that sideline, wants Phillips incomplete. Bracketed beautifully back there by Young and Tillman. So Carter shows a definite tendency to throw the deep ball rolling to the right. He's not that comfortable coming back to the left, which is something we saw Michael Vick do yesterday. Of course, why not? He's a left-hander, right? Makes it a little bit easier when he comes in that direction. But I did see Vick roll to the right a couple times and throw back to the left.
This play was again set up for the home run ball. Phillips came out there, bent outside like he was going to go out, and then went deep.
50th pass of the day for Quincy Carter. That's a career high, and this figures to be 51 if he gets it off. Tied at 48, 1:56 to go. They must reach the 44 for a first down. Tech might have been offside. There's the penalty flag. Carter throws. This time, he had Phillips on that side, incomplete, but there is a penalty flag. It is possible Georgia Tech jumped into that zone. Felipe Claybrooks may have been moving early again.
He got away with one early in the late in the first half, but this time he doesn't get away with it.
For offside, repeat the third down.
Forced Carter out of the pocket just like in the first half. He's going to come. He's this guy right here, in man. Just in the neutral zone just before the ball is snapped.
This puts him in third and, well, they say 4 would be about right on this one. And Carter may have the ability to roll and run for it, but it would be a long run for him right now. Remember, this is third down. They are across midfield. He changes it up. He moves pass over to the left-hand side. He gave him the option. Look, pass, first down, breaks free inside the 35 at the 1:44 mark as Quincy Carter uses his head at the line of scrimmage and moves pass over to the other side.
Greatness is in the details if you're a quarterback. You have to believe Jim Donnan loved what he saw from his quarterback there, audibling to the option, pitching it out. Great blocking up front this time by Jennings, pushing his man by, and there's another third down conversion for Georgia. Great play.
Hap Hines is over there, and Hines has kicked a 54-yarder this year, coming out of 126. Carter rolls hard to the right. Back to the middle. Battle for the ball, and Strength wins it. That is McMichael. Randy McMichael took it away for the defensive back that time on first down. Tillman didn't have a shot, and now McMichael, 7 catches for 142 yards, and a timeout has been used by Georgia Tech.
Tillman was all over that play. McMichael just beat him to the football. This Quincy Carter just fires the ball. He just lets it go. No fear at all.
Down by 17. The Dogs rally. Then they go ahead. Then Georgia Tech comes back quickly to tie it. Deadlocked at 48 in a wild college football game here on ABC on this Saturday afternoon. And tonight, don't forget, Stanford and Notre Dame will go at it out on the West Coast.
Of course, George O'Leary was Bobby Ross's defensive coordinator here for Georgia Tech. Not much defense out here. These two quarterbacks are too good today.
Against O'Leary's D, Carter 28 of 51, 338 yards.
That's after putting 349 yards up last week against Ole Miss.
Georgia's already beaten Georgia Tech at the buzzer, that back in 1995. Now it is second down. They can run, but Georgia Tech was ready. This will put them down in third down and maybe 3-4 yards to go here with Greg Gathers making the stop. Now another timeout has been used by Georgia Tech here. O'Leary, of course, trying to give himself as much time as possible if he does give up a field goal here. But it was 1995, Georgia against Georgia Tech. Tech was up. Torrin Kurtzy went 6 yards, and that cut the Tech lead to 2. Then it was Cannon Parkman from 34 yards, 47 seconds left. Georgia 18, Georgia Tech 17. Well, it happened here again with 1 minute left. One timeout apiece remaining in this game.
The last 4 games have been decided by a total of 15 points. This game is tied with a minute to go.
Remember, this would be a 45-yarder if they don't gain an inch, so no gimme. They need some more yards, and Georgia will be trying to do everything to get the first down. They would stop the clock and then try to position Hines, and they definitely need to keep him on the right hash.
Last 2 times in this short situation, third and less than 5, Georgia has come with the option. You have to believe that Teddy Root has called the defense expecting the option. But as you mentioned, Georgia might want to keep that ball right there in the middle of the field.
That's McMichael, 86. They're going to run. Second effort, first down. Breaks free. Great effort that time by Sanks. Number 28, Jasper Sanks, the sophomore from Columbus, Georgia, and their leading rusher this year would not be stopped. 13 yards, and now Georgia can run the clock down before they attempt the field goal.
Poor tackling has been the story all year for Georgia Tech, and when they needed it, when they had a chance to stop them, there's the defense, and there's 1999 in a nutshell. Poor tackling by the Georgia Tech defense. Ross Mitchell, number 45, had the first shot at him, the middle linebacker right here. Gets his face mask caught up from his own guy right there and actually gets pulled off the tackle by his own defender. Mitchell had a shot, and he's the one who's down on the field right now injured.
Number 45, Ross Mitchell, shaking up on the play.
So they have lost a linebacker, and a good one. Sands of time running out on Joe Hamilton. Can't win it if he doesn't have the football with time left.
Georgia has 1 timeout. I suspect they will run the ball safely and run that clock down for one last try to field goal to win the game. You don't want to give Joe any time back.
App Hines won it last week against Mississippi. Going to get another chance in the rivalry. Remember, Nebraska took a crack. Here comes Sachs for the end zone, short of it. They almost put it away with a touchdown with 25 seconds to go. 12 yards. They're letting the clock continue to run. They're going to bring it on down. They'll take a crack and then call the timeout. The referee dashes up now to the line. He and the umpire.
They're going to start the clock here.
Remember, there's only 13 seconds showing on the game clock.
Georgia's safe, though. They do have a timeout.
Shanks stopped. They need to use it right now. And Young came out of that pile with the football. You could see him in a bit of a tug of war, but I think they put it down. They put it down. Can you believe this? They put it down.
Still a little bit of a conference call going on right there.
They give it to Georgia Tech.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
A miracle.
Shanks has the ball. Keeps both hands on it. Goes down. Ball is loose on contact with the ground. In my opinion, that should not have been a fumble.
9 seconds. And they're going to run it out and take this baby into overtime. They're going to take this game into overtime. Take a deep breath, everybody. We'll take a break. We'll look at some other angles. I'll tell you, I think Gary was right on the money about that one, too. Overtime is coming up. Tied at 48, with a lot of Georgia fans very unhappy.
Tails, it's heads, so you get your first choice. What do you want to do to start? They want to go on defense to begin with. Which end of the field do you want to take the ball on?
Quincy Carter has to refocus. He's very upset right now.
Now, if we go back on this replay, it does appear from the angles that we have seen that the back is down before the ball comes out. Now, folks, you take a good look and you decide what you think. Is he down before the ball comes out?
Well, the way I understand it, you're right. Everybody will have an old opinion, whether you have Georgia Tech, I guess, or Georgia eyes here, but I did not think the ground could cause a fumble, and that to me is what happened.
Gary, I totally agree. But nevertheless, overtime is coming up. We're tied at 48. Back after this word from our ABC stations. Remember, no sudden death in the college game. Equal possession should begin on the 25-yard line. Process is repeated till the tie is broken. If we get to a third overtime, they must go for a two-point conversion following a touchdown.
How ironic. Georgia Tech, only one fumble recovery all year. They get another one on the last play of the season.
From the 25, remember they can get a first down. Carter going to throw that screen to Phillips, and Phillips hit at the 20, spins to the 18-yard line, so they pick up 7 yards. Tillman on the tackle. The first possession of overtime. Those of you who are just joining us and flipping on your sets, we've had a wild one in Atlanta. 1,073 yards of total offense, and the yards here count. College overtime yards count in the final statistics. Second down now for Georgia. Arnott gets the play call from Quincy. Rolls to the right. Finds time. Incomplete. It'll be third down 3 yards for a first down. The intended receiver was Mitchell, the backup quarterback.
Carter wanted to go to the tight end that time, did not get him. Out to the outside, tight end is covered that time by Chris Young. Just throw the ball up, not a bad chance for one in the end zone. Here's the problem, you're going first. You know that Georgia Tech going second can match you, so you have to keep in mind the field goal.
Haynes checks in at fullback, number 35. The lead blocker for Arnott. Arnott straight ahead. Bulls first down, Georgia. Big time run to the 14.
Big time blocking up there too. Kevin Breedlove, the freshman. Miles Lucky doing a job. Isolation play right up the gut. That call a little bit different because they knew they had to keep alive the field goal try.
We're tied at 48. This is overtime.
See, it's 3-down territory for Georgia. If they score, Georgia Tech will have 4-down territory because they need 7.
Carter throws back, incomplete. And he was pressured by Gathers.
12 men on the field. Georgia Tech had 12 men on the field. He's coming off right now. Here comes the 12th guy jogging off right there. They got away with it. He went over and hit on the sideline. Jim Donahue is irate. Hester went over and hit on the sideline and got away with it.
Now they've only got 10. Now they're putting him back on the field, and I think they're going to have to call a timeout. So I think that there was some miscounting going on.
Absolutely.
Because when he came off, it left him with 10. There's no question about that.
Boy, what a discombobulation by everybody.
So everybody will gather themselves here. After the incompletion, it is 2nd down and 10 for Georgia. From just inside the 15-yard line.
Brent, Hester was almost standing out of bounds on the Georgia side trying to hide on that play.
Waits his turn. Joe Hamilton, who here today, 22 of 32 with 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 341 yards, and a touchdown pass of 47, his long of the day. Quincy Carter, 29 of 54, 2 touchdowns and interception, 345 yards. So now it is 2nd down and 10. Carter, pump fake, goes in zone, got it picked off, intercepted in the end zone. Georgia Tech, Marvius Hester steps right in front of McMichael and picks it off.
Quincy Carter made up his mind to go to the tight end on the flat and up. He had Phillips wide open, but he wanted to go to his tight end, and Hester, who hit out on the play before, comes back and finds the ball the next play.
What this does, it allows Georgia Tech to win it on a field goal should they get close on 4th down. A field goal would win it. We're tied at 48. Georgia is out in the first overtime period. They will never, ever forget the play that sent this game into overtime. Now it's Joe Hamilton. Gregory battles for about 6 yards on 1st down.
How ironic, Georgia Tech, last in college football in turnover margin, comes up with a fumble recovery on the last play of the year to save the game, and then an interception with 2 guys wide open. Quincy pulls the string and gets intercepted to allow just a field goal to beat him.
Anjay with his 2 field goals, 1 a 44-yarder. 2nd down. Gregory stuffed. 3rd down coming up. Staying on that right hash.
He was tackled by number 93, Richard Seymour.
Friedgen and O'Leary obviously have talked about what to do with this. Just go ahead and set up the field goal now for Luc Mangé, an attempt to win it. And here comes Mangé on the field right now. They will not even attempt, although unless they want to fake it, but I don't think they will. Here, a 37-yarder for the win. Luc Mangé, and timeout has been called by Georgia in an effort to freeze the field goal kicker.
You get 2 tries this way. You could fall on a bad snap and try again. And you also avoid a possibility of a fumble on 3rd down.
So Mangé over here out of Conyers, Georgia. He's 10 of 14 on the year now, and again he has kicked a 49-yarder, and he's as nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof right now.
One more look at the interception to set up this field goal. You'll see it. Quincy Carter's going to throw to the backside over here. Pulls the string just a bit. If he'd have thrown it to the back corner, could have had him. Look at the tight end have the dead stop. Kester comes back and catches it.
A 38-yarder for a Georgia Tech win in overtime from the right hash. No, it's blocked. Still remember, it's 3rd down. It is 3rd down. It was 3rd down when O'Leary went to the field goal.
And Georgia needed to recover that ball. It's not over.
Donnan wants a clarification.
Great job that time by the backup quarterback, George Godsey, getting that football.
It's 4th down.
Now it's 4th down.
Now it's the second chance.
That was the 3rd down play. It's now 4th down.
Tremendous coaching move by George O'Leary there, going for it on 3rd down. Gives you more options.
The second shot from Mangé. Other hash, 38 yards. Penetration kick is out, far enough, good! Luc Mangé wins it with a field goal in overtime.